Welcome to McKie Field at Hayden Park. It is a beautiful day for some baseball here as the Miami RedHawks take on the Central Michigan Chippewas in a 1 o'clock game here on this wonderful Friday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sean Wieseman here with Cooper Meneghetti, and it's been a good day. It looks to be a good day. What do you got some thoughts for us here?
Oh, absolutely. The weather is a beautiful style for baseball. You can't ask for anything better. Nice and warm, nice and sunny. We are going to probably get a little rain towards the end of the day. Hopefully we avoid that here on the field. But we've got a treat for you today. Zach Shahosky is the starter on the mound. He's one of Miami's best and brightest.
Absolutely. So we'll give you kind of the starters real quick here. So the lineup is for Central Michigan, who will bat first here. It's Webb in the one hole, Prout, Kylan, Bauman, Verberg, Krunzuk, Knowlton, Lakitz, Correa, and Potts is your starting pitcher for today. Potts is your starting pitcher today. And then playing the field for the RedHawks, it's in left field, it is Ryan Novak. Center field, it is Marcus Dirks. Right field, Tommy Harrison. At first base, it is Evan Applewick. Second base, it is Diego Cruz. Shortstop, Ignacio Gonzalez. Third base, Dominic Krupinski. And pitching, like you mentioned, is Zach Zahosky. It is going to be a good day of baseball. Zahosky, a guy with a 3.98 ERA. 4-1 in 10 games started. He's been their Friday starter pretty much all season. He's been a good job. He's stricken out 48, just walked 22 batters, and opponents are hitting 274 off of him. We'll step aside here in just a second as they announce the lineups and get started with their national anthem. But in the meantime, we'll step aside here for just a minute, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, welcome back to Red Hawk Radio as we get started here in just a few seconds. Beautiful day, like I said, with Zach Zahosky up to started off. The left-hander was a really successful pitcher over at Rhodes College in Memphis, a guy who was first-team All-Conference last year, second-team All-Conference the year before, and first-team All-Conference the year before that. So a guy who's just been really consistent, really productive, and boy, are they glad that they found a guy like him just to be their Friday starter. Kind of gives you some depth as a rotation to have a guy who's so consistent, able to give you so many good quality innings.
Absolutely. And you talk about this Miami team, they're in the hunt, trying to hunt down Kent State for that top spot in the MAC. A win in this series would do exactly what the RedHawks need in terms of standings. And having a guy like Zach on the mound really allows you to hopefully get this series started off in a positive direction. The RedHawks have won 3 of their last 4, and they've beaten the last 2 Big Ten teams they've played. So they're absolutely on what I would consider a hot streak.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely would say that as well. It's been a really successful week of baseball for the RedHawks. Obviously, we had that Michigan game on Tuesday, a 12-10 victory. Some really great offensive play, kind of showed everyone why this is one of the most lethal lineups in the country, but also showed some resilience. You didn't pitch all of your best guys either. Carson Byers is probably your best reliever. You pitched him, but everyone else were all guys who didn't necessarily get a ton of playing time either. And you could say the same thing for Michigan. And boy, for an impromptu game on a Tuesday, they sure killed it. And it was great to see the RedHawks, you know, 2 days notice, 48 hours notice, basically put together a really strong performance and get a great win. And maybe even, there's people who are talking maybe an at-large team. You never know, especially with a team that's hovering right now at 52 in RPI standings. Certainly very possible to see that happen. So, well, we'll get the first batter up here. It is Bryson Webb, the starting third baseman today. The right-hander is hitting .336 on the season with 5 home runs, 11 doubles, and 42 runs. A guy whose OPS is well over 950, and a guy who's a stolen base threat, most stolen bases on the team as well, and also team leader in runs scored. So good tone setter and a guy that you certainly like to have at the top of your lineup here. Sahosky winds and deals, and that is a first pitch in there for a ball, little outside. Sahosky throws a few different pitches, all of them not going to be overwhelming. That's kind of like, he kind of talked about this in the preseason when they were kind of interviewing him. They said, why Miami? Goes, well, there's a lot of teams that overwhelmed him. As that is a first pitch hit over to Applewick, who misplayed the ball, and that is going to be safe for Bryson Webb.
You hate to see that. Just a little mistake there out at first base.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it'll be a error charge to Evan Applewick on a kind of routine ground ball. It looked like it kind of had some spin to it, and as a result, really gave them trouble, and Webb able to get a leadoff error here, as that brings up the left fielder, Cole Prout. Sahosky deals, and that's going to be a first pitch in there for a strike, or a ball rather. And like I said, though, Sahosky, not a guy who's going to overwhelm you, but at this point he's certainly developed quite the arsenal. He's a guy who can really keep it over the plate. Like I mentioned, only 22 walks in 52 innings. Only hit one batter, too. A guy who really keeps the ball, within the strike zone for the most part, as that's the second pitch taken outside for a ball. But this is Cole Prout, arguably the best all-around guy offensively for the Chippewas here, hitting .320 at 1090 OPS, 7 home runs, 45 RBIs, and 31 walks, as that's a pickoff attempt. That was unsuccessful, but regardless, yeah. So this is kind of how you want to set it up if you're the Chippewas, and manager Jake Sable in his third season certainly looking like he's liking this so far.
Well, absolutely, and Prout's one of those rare guys who's played all 4 years at Central Michigan.
Absolutely, played also under Jordan Bichelle as he takes that pitch in for a strike. Now of Cincinnati, now the manager for the Cincinnati Bearcats, who's been really transformed that program as well. And so, yeah, like you said, a guy who stayed all 4 years, couple different coaches, but he's been a Chippewa at heart, as that's a pickoff attempt that was blocked pretty well by Applewick. Thankfully didn't get away from him there. Count now 2-1 for the Chippewas. Sahosky deals. Nice curveball over the plate. That'll be a strike 2. And, yeah, Prout, like you mentioned, a guy who's kind of stuck it out, really let himself get developed here, and a guy who pretty much led the team in everything last season: home runs, doubles, RBIs, total bases, just real an offensive catalyst. And so that's another pickoff attempt. In college, just a reminder, there are no disengagement limits, so not like Major League Baseball or Minor League Baseball where you only have 3. You're allowed as many as you want, as that's Webb over there taking a fairly substantial lead, as that is a foul ball hit back into the screen.
Well, Cole Prout, it's no surprise what he's doing at Central Michigan. Looking back through the Central Michigan stat page, he batted .521 in high school, so it's no surprise to see what he's doing here in the MAC level.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see a lot of these guys. You'll be like, it'll always say something like, has the school record for this, this, and this. That's a swing and a miss. That's a drop third strike, and that's, or it's actually not going to be a drop third strike, but a throw down, almost throw down to second bases. Ultimately decided not to be thrown by Carson Rather. So, strike 3 call on that. And that brings up the right-hander Logan Kylan, excuse me, the only freshman in this starting lineup for the Chippewas, but another guy who's you can really tell they have a lot of faith in at DH is a guy who's also a catcher, but really a real strong hitter for the Chippewas as he takes that first pitch in there for a strike.
One thing I've noticed about the Central Michigan team, they have a pretty ugly trend, I would say, if you want to talk about offense. They strike out a lot more than they walk, whereas you look at Miami, it's a pretty even ratio. For Central Michigan, that's not the case.
Absolutely. That's a good point, as that's a big swing and a miss there, too. Yeah, 29 strikeouts to 20 walks, and you tend to see that with especially younger teams, or especially not one that has 4 seniors in the starting lineup and 2 juniors. It's certainly a little unusual, but regardless, yeah, they do strike out quite a bit. And Sahosky takes that pitch, pop fly over into right field foul territory, but it looks like it will be caught, and it will as the runner at second stays put. So 2 away here as Central Michigan hoping not to leave the runner in scoring position, Webb.
You love to get free outs like that, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. So that brings up Harrison Bowman, the junior outfielder from Owensboro, Kentucky. He's a guy who actually was a transfer from Troy, played 26 games, had hit .271 with a couple home runs and 15 RBIs last season, but a guy who's really stepped in as a starter, started all 37 games, or 37 of 38 games rather, for Chippewas as that first pitch is fouled off into the Central Michigan dugout. Makes the count 0-1 here with 2 outs.
Now, Bowman's one of those guys, he's been to, this is, I think, his 4th school.
Yeah. he's been around for sure. There's always a couple of those guys on the roster. You know, you don't really, even 5 years ago you wouldn't really see something like that, but nowadays with the transfer portal and such, you get a lot of different movement here as Sahosky throws that one a little high and outside to even the count at 1 apiece. And yeah, Bowman, though, he's been a really consistent part of the lineup. 39 strikeouts, though, only 20 walks. Kind of speaking on that, like you said, a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. In fact, if you go down this lineup today, 8 of the 9 players in this lineup and all 8 of the regulars that are currently in this lineup all have more than 22 strikeouts, as that's a strike in there for Sahosky, who's really pitching pretty efficiently so far, which you love to see. He only has 11 pitches here. It counts now 1-2.
He mixes in some nice speed stuff there, 80s, 90s. Really got to try to get these batters swinging and missing.
Sure does. He has a really nice arsenal, like I mentioned. He's not going to be the most overwhelming, but he's a guy you can tell has just pitched a lot of games. And as you know, a guy who's first team all conference, he's just very smart and has great control. And like he said, now that it seems like he's definitely upped his velocity, as that's going to be hit over to the second baseman, Cruz. Cruz fields it, and they got him. Really nice play from Cruz, kind of away from where he was standing. He was kind of shaded more over to left field, and Cruz able to run over, make the snag, and get the out. So that retires the side for the Chippewas as they head down to the bottom of the first inning here on Red Hawk Radio. We'll be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wieseman here, joined with Cooper Meneghetti, and it's a good day of baseball so far as the Red Hawks put up a scoreless first inning, or the Chippewas rather put up a scoreless first inning as Sahoski was beautiful, only threw 12 pitches and did his work as Marcus Dirks shows bunt, but pops that one foul actually. Went halfway down the line over on the third base side, almost into the Miami dugout. And Dirks is a guy who you're going to see do that a lot. He laid one down on Tuesday, actually laid two down on Tuesday. They couldn't even stop him at all, and is one of the best, is certainly a guy with the stolen base threat as he watches that second pitch in there for a strike to make the count quickly 0-2.
Well, if you're a fan of old school baseball, it's hard not to be a fan of
Absolutely.
Marcus Dirks.
Yeah.
He's an old school leadoff guy.
You're so right. So, well, this is Tyson Potts, the right-hander, as he winds and fires, as he throws that one in there for a ball, just a little off the plate. And it's just interesting. Yeah, Potts, a guy who also, much like Sahoski, played at kind of a lower level, played at Wayland Baptist from 2023 and 2020 to 2025. Not actually particularly great in his time there as he throws that pitch in for a ball, but regardless, he's actually been not bad this season. 5.62 ERA, 2-2 in 16 appearances, 7 games started, 41 and 2/3 inning, and that is hit kind of a chopper over to the first base side, and he beats it out. Dirks is just, his speed is just unbelievable.
Oh, exactly. I mean, he beat that out by probably
a good step.
Second.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He beat it by a full step there. So Dirks on a little dribbler over to first base side and able to make it happen. So, and that's kind of the speed, and that's why he's such a great leadoff guy. A guy hitting 360 sets you up super well for Evan Applewick, the senior first baseman who has just been nothing short of dominant in his career here at Miami. Little less of a dominant this season, but regardless, 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, and top 10 in Major League in NCAA baseball, in walks with 43, 46 runs as well. So a guy who can really make it happen on the base pass as he watches that first pitch in for a ball.
Well, this top third of the lineup is really dangerous. You talk about you have Dirks leading off. He's 9th nationally in stolen bases, so he's obviously a threat. Then you got the walk threat of Applewick with the good plate discipline and home run power, and then Tommy Harrison, who's having quite a season.
Yeah, and another guy who's top 10 in RBIs in the NCAA. I mean, so it's kind of you can tell who's getting on base a lot as Applewick watches that one in for a strike to even the count at 1. And yeah, it's we've talked about this before, but it's hilarious just how well it sets things up. You have two guys who can get on base really well, and a guy who's hitting 417 and is, you know, one of the top average hitters in the country. I mean, it's incredible as he throws that one. Potts throws that one over to first base, but not in time. Just trying to make sure Dirks knows that he sees him. But yeah, no, Harrison's a guy that you love having in as your third spot, especially with two guys who get on base at the clip they do. Winds and deals that one. Little outside. Once again, good plate discipline from Applewick. Certainly wouldn't have faulted him for biting on that. Some good off speed, though. Like you said, both of these pitchers really mix up their speeds. Is something I'm already starting to notice here. As that one is fouled off the foot of Evan Applewick. Makes the count 2-2 now, and certainly got to wonder just how, like, you know, all the records that you feel like that, you know, Harrison's already setting. Applewick, you know, tied the single season home run record. Dirks, a guy with 28 stolen bases, excuse me. And you know, just you feel like, oh my gosh, this is just a record-setting offense waiting to happen, and it's kind of been incredible given that they lost several guys last year.
Yeah, and absolutely, you've seen that Michigan and Purdue have really felt this full wrath of this Miami lineup. Michigan more so than Purdue.
Sure, but they both were able to compete offensively. As that's a full count now, 3-2, as that was a ball kind of into the brown turf here at McKie Field at Hayden Park.
And that gets you excited for the prospect of an NCAA tournament game.
Absolutely. The offense is there to compete with just about anybody, as that is another pickoff attempt from Potts. And, yeah, if you go on, there's kind of a baseball equivalent of KenPom, if you're familiar with the college basketball website, but that does analytics for baseball and actually has Miami as a top 15 offense in the country right now. Applewick sees that one at head high, and that is going to be a walk for him. So men on first and second, no outs. Certainly sets up well for Tommy Hammer and Harrison, the .417 hitter who, yeah, he's been doing exactly what you asked. 59 RBIs, 11 home runs, and a guy who just seems to get the hits exactly when you need them. And he's been doing it very, very often. A guy you love to certainly kind of a throwback in the sense that he doesn't necessarily sell out for power, but can certainly hit for power, no doubt. And he's been terrific as he watches that first pitch in for a strike. But yeah, he's 5th in on-base percentage, top 10 in batting average, player of the week, weeks 3 and 8 in the Mid-American Conference here. And you can certainly understand why with a guy with those kind of stats. As Potts takes his time, and big swing and a miss for Harrison. Makes the count 0-2 here. And yeah, Harrison, a guy too who's kind of really had to stick with it. He actually had a medical red shirt in 2024. Didn't really start a lot of games in 25, only started 21, but really stuck with it now. And as a redshirt junior from Cleveland, he's been terrific. Watches that pitch in. A little low. Makes the count 1-2 here.
I went to high school with Tommy Harrison, and
St. Ed's.
Yep, it's hard. He's one of those guys who just captivates the entire school. Everyone loved Tommy Harrison, and I think that translates real well here to Miami.
Absolutely. That's a pitch inside. Evens the count at 2 apiece, and yeah, it's certainly been the talk of Oxford, Ohio. I mean, it seems like we've had so much to talk about with Miami athletics. You obviously, football team makes the Mid-American Conference Championship. Men and women's basketball both making the NCAA tournament. And this baseball team putting themselves on the radar here as that is chopped up the middle, hit to the shortstop. He fields it cleanly, pulls himself off the base, and he gets tagged out, though. Oh, man. Tough break, but advances the runners to second and third. A nice play from the shortstop, Lakitz, to at least try to make something happen, and an even better play from the first baseman, Krunzuk, to make something happen there and kind of salvage it.
You couldn't have asked for a better setup on a double play right there. That
was
right to second.
No, exactly. It was right up the middle. Shortstop Lakitz just kind of fielded it, but kind of had a little bit of an errant throw, and the first baseman, Krunzuk, got pulled off the bag, but was able to tag Tommy Harrison. So looks like there's going to be some discussion. I can't quite tell what it is with the umps, but there's a brief break here. But that brings up Ryan Novak, the junior left fielder, a guy who's been in the program as long as Brian Smiley's been a coach, actually, and a guy who, like I said, he's a second team all-MAC guy at outfield last season. Not quite as efficient this year, but still 7 home runs, 40 RBIs, and 29 walks, 33 strikeouts, and a guy with an OPS of 870. So certainly not anything to sneeze at, but he's been a 3-year starter. This is his 3rd year as a starter. Started as a true freshman, hitting .273, and just a really consistent cog in the lineup.
Absolutely. You got to respect him.
Absolutely. I can't quite tell what's going on. Still, the pitcher Potts is off the mound, getting a water break right now, and not sure what the deal is here. Oh, I think they're checking to see. They're reviewing to see if they actually was somebody that tagged, or if the shortstop Lakitz actually ended up tagging second base on the play. It doesn't look like he did, but
for those of you not in. Well, I don't know why you'd be listening if you're in Hayden Park, but for those of you not here, right now it looks like they're just rewinding on YouTube on the scoreboard here, so it's a little...
Taking the clip. Yeah, they're taking the clip. They're playing it on the big jumbotron, so to speak here. A little harder to see from our angle, but regardless, yes, that is what they're doing right now. And it's, I'm sure the umpires have a little bit easier of a time seeing as though they have a whole screen much closer. But yeah, so what they're reviewing right now is whether or not Lakitz kind of, like you said, we hit it up the middle, but was he able to kind of drag a toe and snag second base? So they're going to say he did in fact touch second base, and that means it will in fact be a double play ball. I guess he had possession. They're going to say he did have possession of the ball before tagging it, while tagging it, excuse me, and then able to get the man at first. So a double play ball for Potts, and what looked like it could have been a much more dire situation, but now gives 2 outs for the 4-hole hitter, Ryan Novak.
Well, don't forget you have Marcus Dirks on first.
Absolutely. Oh. Well, he wears that one, as that is a first pitch hit-by pitch for Ryan Novak, and he'll take his base. So that means now men on the corners here for the For the 5-hole hitter, Ignacio Gonzalez, the sophomore, hitting .294. Actually had a great game on Tuesday. He was one of 3 guys in a row to hit home runs, back-to-back-to-back home runs, and a great 6th inning performance on Tuesday, and certainly hoping to continue that kind of dominance at the plate. A guy with 7 home runs total, 40 RBIs for the sophomore from Puerto Rico. As he watches that first pitch outside, only 68 miles an hour on that pitch. Whew.
Wow, slowed him down right there.
Yeah, certainly did, but no bite from Gonzalez, and Gonzalez a great athlete. I mean, you feel really good about a guy like him at shortstop. He can really cover pretty much anywhere you need him to play. So that's a ball right down the pipe, 87 on that one, and evens the count at 1 apiece.
Gonzalez is just a guy who knows how to get on base. He plays the game really well, a really fundamental player.
Absolutely, as Gonzalez watches that one into the turf for ball 2.
I don't think there's a guy in this lineup you don't feel confident with the bat.
Absolutely not. That's kind of the beauty of this lineup for Brian Smiley, because he's able to really not have to worry about any major weaknesses in his lineup. You look at a guy like your 9-hole hitter still hitting .270 as Gonzalez watches that one. He hasn't lifted the bat up off his shoulders yet, as the count is now even at 2 apiece here, 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Here on a beautiful day at McKie Field at Hayden Park, just hoping for some sunshine for just a couple more hours to get this game in. As Potts looks and deals, as that is a it looks like there was some confusion there. Looks like there's going to be a pickle. And he's going to be safe at second. Oh, my goodness. Some confusion because the catcher Verberg, thought that there was a called third strike. There wasn't, as the runner was running.
That was
Ryan
weird.
Novak, that was a very bizarre set of circumstances, so let me break it down. Ryan Novak was on his way to second base and thought also it was a called third strike as Potts deals. And that's a swing and a miss. There you go. There's the final out of the inning. But, yeah, it looked like Novak was kind of confused, okay, so he was about to run back, but he didn't actually run back. He thought he was out, but he wasn't going to be out, and ultimately decided to run into second because the shortstop was also, Drew Lakekitz was also confused. So a lot of bizarre circumstances, but the point being, final out of the inning for the RedHawks. That sends us now to the bottom of the second. Thanks so much for listening to Red Hawk Radio. We'll be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to McKie Field at Hayden Park. I'm Sean Wieseman, joined by Cooper Meneghetti, and we got a great one so far. Scoreless after 1 as we jump here into the second inning with a great reminder that you should always make sure to run over to second base after it, regardless of whether you think it's out or not.
I've never seen a standing pickle. Even
Can't say I have either, but regardless, you'll take it if you're the RedHawks, even though obviously there was a one minute later, obviously, just a strike. As that's a first pitch in there for a strike for Sahosky, still out there in his second inning of work. So far, only 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout for him. Really taking his time, staring. Shook off a couple signs there as he winds and deals. That one's going to be fouled away, makes the count 0-2.
So standing in for Central Michigan is the catcher, Spencer Verberg, the native of Granville, Michigan. That's right around Grand Rapids. So
Yeah, he's been a guy who's been pretty consistent offensively, hitting 385 in 21 games started. So very good as that one is yanked off the plate into the right-handed left-handed hitting batter's box. Makes the count 1-2 here. And like you said, yeah, he's from Grand Rapids. You see a lot of guys from Michigan, as you can imagine. Some have more national rosters. That's a swing and a miss. Drop third strike, though, as Rather throws it down to first in time, and that's the first out of the inning.
well, there you go. Now everyone can be happy.
Absolutely.
The strikeout
and I was going to say, nice play there. So, brings up the infielder, the second baseman, or first baseman, rather, Brady Krunzuk. Oh my goodness, sorry, it is a mouthful. It does not look anything like that when you spell it as Krzciok as he takes that first pitch in for a ball, but it's kind of been their middle of the order force for them. Guy who's eight home runs. As he watches that pitch in, was spiked off home plate.
Well, Krunzuk spent the first 2 years of his career at Malcolm Community College.
There you go.
So he's in his second year at Central Michigan as a senior.
All right. Well, regardless, he's been like I said, a real guy, a good middle of the order kind of guy as Zahosky deals, and that one is hit. Chopper over to first base. Toss over to Zahosky in time. Nice play there. Nice hustle from Zahosky to make sure he got there. Applewick would not have gotten there in time if he was just to try to run it over to first base himself, but good awareness from Zahosky and a great play for the RedHawks. Now 2 outs here for the right-hander, the shortstop Drew Litkes, or excuse me, sorry, the center fielder Zach Knowlton.
Well, Knowlton's another senior.
That is a hit over the jumping arms of Dominic Krupinski for a base hit over on the third base line, and so that will be a first pitch single on that at bat there. But yeah, Knowlton's go ahead.
He's got plenty of experience for the Central Michigan team.
Absolutely, he does. A senior as well from Highland Community College, and a guy who you certainly don't mind having a veteran like that, a guy who's also hitting 299. But that brings up Drew Litkes. Sorry for the confusion there. The shortstop sophomore, who's hitting 316 in all 30, only guy who has started all 38 games this season for the Chippewas, and been a real good find for them so far as there's a disengagement throw over to first, not in time.
Well, Litkes has an interesting career path. He started at Central Michigan. Last year he transferred to Wofford before coming back to Central Michigan, well, redshirting at Wofford.
They call that in basketball. They call that the Darfo, in honor of a player, Phil Darfo, who transferred from Merrimack to a bigger school, then transferred back. So they call that the Marfo.
Huh, I've never heard that.
There you go. You learned something new now.
Yeah.
Counts 1-0 here. 2 outs, man, on first as Zahosky throws that one over to first, not in time. And you say you don't see many guys do that, but especially with the way the portal is nowadays, where you can do that. It was Jake Sable said that was a no-brainer for him to get a guy like him back. He was upset he left and wanted him back in the lineup right away. That is a screamer hit down the third base line, but it is foul. And a guy who you could slot in, literally just, set and forget kind of guy, because he's going to hit, 800 OPS, 316 from 300-ish every day, and he's going to play a solid shortstop. Made a great play defensively in the first inning. And
well, he's not a power hitter, no home runs on the year.
No, not a power hitter, but a guy who can get on base a little bit and get some contact. He's just a guy who makes a lot of contact, period. Not really, like you said, not really a power hitter. That was another disengagement. Count 1-1 here. Zahosky throws that one high. Runner goes. Not in time is the throw from Rather. So that will be a stolen base.
Well, Zahosky was right to worry about him right there.
Absolutely, he was, as that was a nice stolen base there from Knowlton. So runner here on second now with 2 outs. Count 1-2 for Zahosky. And Drew Litkes just hoping to get out of this jam here. He's really taking his time, really looking the runner back. And bounced over the plate. So that will be a ball. Not a great pitch, kind of spiked that one.
You could see he wanted that back the minute he realized.
Absolutely, you could tell as soon as he let that go, he was not thrilled with the way that he threw that. So evens the count at 2 apiece here, 2 outs. Score is 0-0 here, top of the second inning, as Zahoski really worried about that second base runner, Knowlton, but ultimately decides, and that is hit over to past Ignacio, and that is going to be waving him home as the third base coach, and that is going to be a stand-up single and a run scored for the Chippewas.
Well, that just got past Iggy Gonzalez.
Yeah, Ignacio Gonzalez not quite able to get there with his outstretched arms, just maybe a foot past his arm there. And so a nice play, a nice piece of hitting there for Drew Lakitz there with 2 outs, and so that brings up the 9-hole hitter, Correa, who has yet to bat, but regardless, a guy who started quite a few games as well. 31 games started, 31 games played, 30 games started. Sophomore's been probably the worst hitter in the lineup, but
well, last year he was all conference at Thomas More, where he transferred from. So he's trying to
not
get back
far
into
down the road
form.
from here, actually, in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
Huh.
As that's a first pitch fouled. But yeah, like you said, hit 379 last year, 6 home runs, 41 RBIs, first team all GMAC honors in 2025, and he's been one of their everyday guys. His count is now even, 1-1.
He struck out 36 times, so this is absolutely a guy Zahoski wants to get swinging.
Absolutely, as Zahoski deals, and that one is also fouled. Over to the right side, past the Central Michigan dugout. Makes the count 1-2 here, and you can certainly see Zahoski getting kind of antsy, just wanting to get out of this inning here, as he's already given up 1, doesn't want to prolong this inning any further. Nice pickoff move from Zahoski, but not real close, as the base runner Lakitz was back in with time to spare.
Well, Zahoski wants to get out of this one before you get back to the top of the
Absolutely, he sure does, as he disengages again. Throws that one over.
Central Michigan knows they need to score runs, so I wouldn't be surprised if this runner takes off soon.
Sure.
Especially the way Zahoski's checking up on him.
Absolutely, yeah, just a quick step off the base there, step off the rubber rather, as Lakitz needed to adjust some stuff. As Zahoski winds, and that one is head high for a ball. He evens the count at 2 apiece, and yeah, it just feels like he's wasting pitches, so to speak, because got ahead early, but now he's just eager to get somebody to chase on this. Correa, that is, the second baseman. Lakitz taking a pretty substantial lead, but Zahoski swing and a miss, and
That's
a
what
great
you want right there.
strikeout. Exactly. You talk about a guy who's going to chase. He chased. Well, that wraps up the inning. A one-run inning for Central Michigan on a single rather. Goodness gracious, a single from Central Michigan, and so that makes it 1-0 Chippewas. We'll be back here in the bottom of the second as Miami heads up. We'll be right back in just a second. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. It's a 1-0 ball game here as we get to the bottom of the second. Carson Rather, the catcher, up to bat. Hasn't batted yet today. But a guy who hit a home run on Tuesday, raised his batting average to just over 300, 302 to be exact. He's been their kind of starting catcher as that first pitch is taken in for a ball.
Rather out of Goodrich, Michigan. He's a short, stocky catcher at 5'9".
He's a good catcher, though, regardless, offensively especially, as he watches that pitch a little outside off the plate. And, yeah, like I said, it's hard to find guys who can hit well and play some good defense. But Rather, a guy from Goodrich, Michigan, like you said, who's able to do that as he watches that pitch in there for a strike.
Well, in high school, this guy played 4 different sports: football, basketball, baseball, and soccer.
There you go. Watches that pitch and clips the outside corner, evens the count at 2 apiece. A nice off-speed pitch there from Potts, who's made quick work of these RedHawks so far. Like I mentioned, only 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout, but able to get through just 23 pitches. As that ball is spiked into the brown turf and makes the count full. And Rather, yeah, like you said, a guy from Michigan, but a guy who was in the program last season as well. Only played 9 games and 1 start, but a guy who stepped up as he watches that pitch in for ball 4. And a leadoff walk for the RedHawks.
You'll love to see that. Get runners on base early.
Absolutely. We've already talked ad nauseum about the prolificness of this offense, but this certainly is a good way to get that kind of started here, as that brings up Christopher Roa, the Dominican, as Roa's been terrific this season. He hasn't played a ton, was hurt for a little under a month, actually, as Rather takes a pretty big lead, but does not go, and first pitch in there for a ball. But yeah, Roa played 15 games, started 9 with a home run. Also had a home run on was one of the 3 home runs hit in the back-to-back sequence against Michigan, which was pretty cool to see. But
first time that happened in program history.
There you go. That second pitch is taken in there for a strike. But yeah, Christopher Roja, a guy, like, he was hurt for pretty much all of last season too, had some elbow issues, and so they're trying to kind of work him back. He's primarily been a DH, but that's a guy they also like playing third and in the corner outfields as well. And he kind of takes over for Ty Batisic, who did some really great stuff for a couple years as DH, but he graduated, so Christopher Roja kind of steps in as their DH, as that one is hit over to left center field past the outstretched arms of Lakits, and that is going to be a single for Christopher Roja as the runner advances to second.
Well, you love that. Ambush the pitcher early.
Absolutely.
Make Potts feel uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly. So really great piece of hitting there. Just waited on his pitch. None of the strikes even were particularly great pitches to kind of piece up, but finally gets one kind of over the heart of the plate and just kind of sends it the other way. And great job there from Christopher Roja. So that brings up the left-handed hitting, Diego Cruz, the only freshman in this lineup from Carolina, Puerto Rico, as he shows bunt, and that is popped up to the pitcher, and that is going to be an out, and that's 1 down for Potts. Just about as ugly of a bunt as you could ask. You pop it right up to the pitcher, which is exactly what you don't do. You want that bunt down, not up.
Yeah, well, I mean, Potts made quick work of that.
And Potts made very quick work of it, yep. Just extinguished that. So, men on first and second, 1 out. Here is the 9-hole Dom Krupinski, the senior, third baseman. Gets in the batter's box. He's a left-hander as he works up against the right-handed Potts.
Well, he leads the team in getting hit by pitch, so I'm sure he's got a few bruises.
Absolutely. He watches that first pitch inside for a strike. And, yeah, it does. It seems like he kind of has a knack for getting hit. He got hit twice in his game on Tuesday against Michigan, adding to his already team-leading total there as Potts deals. And that is a big swing and a miss for Krupinski's. It's quickly 0-2 now, and you certainly hope he can get at least 1 run off a great situation, first and second, no outs. And
absolutely.
Potts really not worried about either of the runners at all. Takes one quick look at the runner on second, fires, and that is a chopper hit to the pitcher. First hit to the throw, rather, to second base. So that is going to be out. So no throw to first. That means there's 2 outs now as Krupinski gets in on a fielder's choice. So, like I said, men on the corners now. Kind of an awkward play. I couldn't exactly see. It was kind of hard to tell exactly what in the world was going on just because it was kind of an awkward setup there. But that sets up, that kind of turns the order over here and brings up Marcus Dirks, the junior center fielder. As that is a hit by pitch.
Wow. Well,
we were just talking about hit
speaking
by
of that.
pitches, and there's your hit by pitch as Dirk takes that one.
he's now at 14 on the season, so
There
he
you
as
go.
well
There you go. So
has found a way to get hit by a lot of balls this season.
absolutely. So that brings up Evan Applewick now with the bases loaded here, 2 outs, and a chance to really set the tone here offensively early as Potts hoping to just escape this inning unscathed.
Well, Potts is going to have to be careful with his command here.
Absolutely. Against a guy with as much power as Applewick, you certainly have to.
Well, not only that, and he's got a great eye for the baseball.
Exactly. Nope, you're exactly right, as that's a first pitch ball, a little high for Applewick. No, you're exactly right, though. A guy who gets on base. Aside from Tommy Harrison, almost as well as any player on the team. Winds and deals, and that one is well outside. Good play there from the catcher, Verberg, who able to grab that one out of the left-handed batter's box, as that's going to be time called for the manager, Jake Sable. He's going to have a quick chat.
Well, especially with the dangerous hitter like Applewick.
You want to have your game plan all right, because there's now quickly 2-0. You want to figure out, you want to make sure you have your game plan here, like you said, a guy like Applewick, and especially because Sable is a former pitcher. He was played for the Chippewas, so he was really kind of in tune as far as like he's a guy who really values his ability to coach pitching, and a guy who's been a head coach several other places, was a pitching coach under Jordan Bichelle in 2015, at Northwood, where he was also head coach. And, a guy who's coached 15 years and total. Certainly just going to give this guy Potts some advice here as Applewick comes in with a 2-0 count. As he deals, and that is once again high. So 3-0 count, and a walk would send a runner home. Certainly hoping to avoid that. Probably just going to have to fire a fastball over the plate here. Now you wonder, is the green light going to be on for Evan Applewick?
Well, if it is, he has a chance to blow the game open.
Certainly does, as that's like, as you expected, a fastball down the middle. 4-1. Count 3-1 now for Applewick.
Even if you walk in here, it doesn't get any easier with Tommy Harrison.
Exactly, a guy known for his RBI hitting ability, hitting .417. Not an ideal setup, and that's ball 4. So that's a run scored for the RedHawks. Still bases loaded, and like you said, that really doesn't make your life any easier if you're the Chippewas, because now you send up Tommy Harrison, who's been hitting about as well as any player in the country, let alone the Mid-American Conference. .417 on the season, a slugging of 743, hit on base 541. A guy with also 59 RBIs. That's not ideal. Potts,
Takes
first
advantage of
pitch
that one.
into right field, and that's going to be a single. Sends one runner home. 2 runners go home. A little bit of confusion on the base pass for the runners at second and third going home into third respectively, but that's a 2-run base hit for Tommy Harrison. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Harrison can get RBIs as well as any player in the country, and he's doing it today, already with a couple so far. And that brings up now Ryan Novak with men on the corners here, 2 outs. RedHawks now up 3-1. Just a nice piece of hitting there. Barreled up the first real pitch that he wanted right in the gap, the first and second base gap there. And that ball is hit into right center field, but it is going to be caught rather by the center fielder. So that will end the inning. Knowlton with the catch, but not before 3 runs are scored for the RedHawks. So 3-1 is the score with the RedHawks on top as we head into the top of the third. We'll be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio, a 3-run second inning, bottom of the second inning for the Miami RedHawks allows the RedHawks to take a 3-1 lead over the Central Michigan Chippewas here on a beautiful day at McKie Field at Hayden Park. I'm Sean Wieseman here with Cooper Meneghetti, and it's been a good one so far as the top of the order comes to the plate here. Right now it is Bryson Webb, who in his last at-bat got on base on an error by Evan Applewick. As Zahoski winds and deals, and that is a first pitch strike. Nice curveball there from the left-hander, Zach Zahoski.
Well, a fun fact here about Bryson Webb, he's two-time academic All-MAC.
Well, there you go. Smart kid.
Yeah.
There you go. As that second pitch is taken in there for a ball. RedHawks with 3 hits and an error. Central Michigan with just 2 hits, no errors so far in the first couple innings. Here in the top of the third as Zahoski fires that one. Nice pitch there. Clips the inside corner for strike 2. Yeah, Webb, a guy who actually tied a program record for doubles. Takes that fourth pitch for a ball, even the count at 2 apiece. But on April 12th, set a tied a program record with 4 doubles against Bowling Green. So a guy who can certainly hit very well. The reason he's sitting at the top of the lineup, and that's a foul ball hit over to the Central Michigan dugout, and makes the count still 2-2. 95 on that pitch. Zahoski wanted that one dead, and unfortunately for him, not able to get the out there. That's maybe the highest velocity pitch he's probably thrown darn near of his career, I'm guessing, because he had some mustard on that. As he fires that one in a little outside for ball 3, and now quickly the count is full for Bryson Webb.
Time to get out of the jam here. Something's got to give.
Absolutely. Zahoski kind of fiddles with his glove here for a second. Takes the pitch and fires. Swing and a miss. A great off-speed pitch, and that is Bryson Webb down on strikes for out 1. That brings up Cole Prout, the senior, who on his last at-bat struck out by Zahoski here in the top of the third inning. As Zahoski throws that one in a little high and inside for ball 1.
Well, Zach Zahoski's a native of Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yeah, you'll notice on this Miami roster, a lot of different places these guys are from. Not all Ohio as he fires that one in for a strike. Smiley had done a good job of recruiting, not just in the country, but also getting guys like you said, from the Dominican, from Puerto Rico, obviously in the country still, but not exactly a place like Miami, Ohio would be a natural fit, as that's a 2-1 count now for Zahoski against the 2-hole hitter, the left fielder, Cole Prout. As he fires that one in, that one is ripped to Applewick, past him actually, and that is going to be a 2-base hit for, or is that throw? Oh my gosh, that throw almost caught in there actually. It was a double out the box though for Cole Prout, so he calls time. He's going to give him his gear, but really nice hit. He smoked that just past the outstretched arms of Evan Applewick and did a really nice job hustling out the box and making just a little bit of a bobble from the right fielder Tommy Harrison, and allowed him to get to second base.
Well, they talk about football being a game of inches. Baseball is too.
Baseball very much is. Just barely underneath the glove of Applewick. Very close as Zahoski throws that first pitch in there for a strike. And the Zahoski, like I said, has got to be very comforting for a guy like Smiley. You don't find many guys who can just fill up the strike zone like this anywhere in the country. So a guy who, as your number 3 starter, can still sit low or mid-90s and really fill the strike zone up has got to be a relief, as that one is ripped foul over on the left field side, or third baseline rather, and makes the count 0-2 now.
Well, even as your third starter, Zahoski does a lot of things really well that you love to see.
Absolutely. Like you said, he's just got his pitch ability. It reminds you of Carson Byers from the last couple of years. Maybe not quite as much this year. Byers has struggled maybe a little bit, but as far as just pitch ability and being able to just locate your stuff day in and day out, there's very few guys on this team as consistent as Zahoski on that regard. So he fires that one in. Little low and outside for ball 2. 2-2 count here with 1 out. Top of the 3rd inning.
He struck out 51 batters this season.
Yes, he's done a good job.
A pillar of consistency.
Absolutely. Big lead for the runner on second as that one is fouled off over third base side, or first base side, excuse me. And it's going to be foul ball. Count still 1-2. On deck is Bowman.
One out, one on.
Logan Kylan still.
In this 3rd inning.
Only, like I mentioned, only freshman in this lineup, but started 27 games, played in 32, so one of the more pivotal hitters in this lineup here.
Both of these teams have a lot of experience.
Absolutely they do, as that one is fouled back into the net. Nice at bat coming together here for Kylan regardless of the outcome. Really fouling off some pitches, making Zahoski, the veteran, work. Senior on a freshman here. As Zahoski's really taking his time getting set here. Looks over at second and fires. Swing and a miss and gets him down on strikes as well as Zahoski, and a really nice job. That is back-to-back strikeouts now for Zach Zahoski. And boy, 5 strikeouts today already. He is really mowing him down so far, as that brings up now the 4-hole hitter, Harrison Bowman.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, he's been at 3 different schools. That would be Missouri Western State, Iowa Central Community College, and Troy.
Well, there you go. A guy who's been very well traveled as he fouls that first pitch off on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. And yeah, this is like you said. You see at least a couple of those on every roster. Michigan had a guy who played at 5 schools, including high schools, in 5 years. So certainly some guys you don't really see that. You never would really see that up until now, but more and more common.
I wonder how he likes Mount Pleasant.
I wonder. Zahoski looked over at second base and fires that one in for strike 2. So now an 0-2 count here with 2 outs. A runner on second base. A big lead for the runner there on second. That's Prout. But nothing doing for Gonzalez or Diego Cruz. They're not really doing a whole lot to hold him on, really. As Zahoski fires that one in just off the plate. Zahoski thought it was out for a quarter of a second there, but retreats back to the pitcher's mound and makes the count 1-2. Zahoski really taking his time the last few batters here, just kind of getting settled in as he fires out. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts. 3 up, 4 down. Something like that. As it's a 3-1 ball game here as we head down to the bottom of the 3rd. Miami up 3-1. We'll be right back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. Ignacio Gonzalez up to bat, the 5-hole hitter. In his last at bat, he struck out. His Potts is out there. 44 pitches so far for the right-handed senior. As he winds and fires that one. First big swing and a miss for Ignacio Gonzalez. And
well, Gonzalez is one of 2 players from Puerto Rico on the roster, so.
Sure is. Yeah, like I said, that's just kind of the flair as far as the reach, the reach that Smiley's had, and that's a strike. No swing on that one, and quickly 0-2 now for the sophomore from, like you said, from Puerto Rico. Big swing and a miss, really ugly swing there from Gonzalez. That ball was kind of in the brown turf there, so not an ideal start for the RedHawks, as there's now 1 out as Carson Rather, the left-handed hitting catcher, comes to the plate. Rather in his last at-bat with a walk, currently hitting .302 on the season. As Potts fires that one.
Ooh.
Oh,
Is that another
hit him?
damage?
I actually think that hit the very knob of his bat.
Okay.
Because Rather did not move a muscle. He just went, I don't need to move I don't need to go anywhere. He could have sold it a little bit, but he did not, and I think it just hit the knob of his bat. So 0-1 is the count so far with 1 out, as that second pitch is a little high.
He's got 7 home runs on this season, and he actually set his high school's home run record.
There you go.
So this is a guy who can swing with
He
power.
can have
when
some
he needs
power.
to.
Yeah, absolutely. Potts in his windup. Check swing. He did not go. So 2-1 is the count now, and Rather, a guy, only a sophomore, but in my mind just kind of plays like a senior. And just a guy who just feels like he always knows what to do with the ball, always makes the right play, it feels like, as that one is barreled over to the second baseman, who fields it cleanly, and in time is the throw. So 2 outs now for the RedHawks as the hitter Christopher Roja comes to the bat. 1 for 1 in he's 1 for 1 today.
He's from the Dominican Republic.
From the Dominican,
So
yeah.
you're talking about that Latin
One of the
flair on this team.
Yeah, the only non-American on the roster. As that is a first pitch inside and high for ball 1. 3-1 is our score here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. As Potts in the windup, and big swing and a miss for Roa, and makes the count even at 1 apiece. And yeah, Roa, a guy who I think Brian Smiley before the season even said, he said this is a guy that, like, I just wish I could play more. He's just been hurt so much, and a guy who always seems to string together some quality at bats, hitting .314 as he takes that pitch outside for a ball. But a guy they want to play more because he can hit as well as anybody on the team. It's just a matter of health for the sophomore Dominican, as that's a big swing as well for strike 2. Readjusting his batting gloves is Roa.
Yeah, he hasn't had much action this season.
Yeah,
As
like
you
I
were
said,
saying.
he spent a month out as that is a swing and a miss, but he dropped 3rd strike, hits the backstop. Roja running down, and he will be in time. So in spite of a dropped 3rd strike, Roa able to hustle down to first base, and got there by about a half step close. Oh, are they going to say he's out? I think they said he ran out of the baseline.
Oh.
The way the first baseman set up was in the baseline, though.
Yeah,
And I think they're saying that because it was a run down to first, he has to touch the green bag. This is something new they added this season, where they'll have, if it's a play to first, you're required to touch. We're not required. You're supposed to touch one of the 2 bags, but they usually ask that you touch the green one. And I'm not. I think there's something about the baseline though, because he kind of did. He kind of ran outside the baseline. He was trying to avoid the first baseman who was setting up inside. And there's Brian Smiley's coming out for an extended discussion with home plate umpire Andy Dudonis.
Both coaches would like a word with these umpires.
I think both coaches would like a word, because I think there's a lot of confusion right here. But regardless, I believe that will end the inning if what they're saying stands, because it looks like, yeah, I think unfortunately Roa did end up stepping out of the baseline just in an effort to avoid the first baseman, Krunzuk. So looks like now they're all going to huddle up. Roa still staying over at first base, mind you, so he hasn't given up his spot yet. But all the Central Michigan players are off the field. Both teams just assuming that the best outcome for them is what's going to happen here.
Well, Krupinski and Cruz are also.
Yeah, they still have their batting gear on too. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, still some discussion. Trying to figure out exactly. I mean, he was safe. There's no doubt he was safe on the play. I think there is also maybe. Yeah, I think it has to be a baseline discussion here, because something you also have to keep in mind too is on that play, because the way the ball ricocheted, it kind of hit to the Central Michigan part of the plate, i.e. the right side, which meant that he couldn't set up inside, which then meant, of course, he then had to set up in the baseline, which made Roa's job way more difficult, because he's like, okay, well then where am I supposed to go? And I think that's where Smiley's saying, and yeah, they're going to call him safe.
Oh, wow. Oh,
or are they
out? Yeah. Central Michigan's celebrating right now.
They just made a hand gesture. It looked like they were calling him safe, but no, it looks like they're calling him out. So that is going to be the end of the inning on a drop third strike. Looks like kind of a base running error there from Christopher Roja, and that will end the inning for the RedHawks. So we'll step aside. We'll probably give you a little bit more clarity when we come back, but in the meantime, we will step aside. So we'll be right back here on RedHawk Radio. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio, as the score is 3-1, scoreless third for both teams. So top of the fourth here for the hitter Verberg, who in his last at-bat struck out, as Zahoski is still out there for inning number 4 as he throws that first pitch in for a strike. A nice off-speed, kind of clipped the outside corner there.
Well, Verberg's a 6'2" catcher, which means he towers over Miami's Carson Rather.
That he does. As that is barreled over to the third baseman, Krupinski, who misplayed it. And that's going to be a base hit. Or I think they're going to score this an error here. Yeah, that's going to be an error for Krupinski, who very easily should have had it. It was hit hard, but regardless was very playable. So leadoff error for the Chippewas, or for the RedHawks rather, favors the Chippewas. And now that brings up Krunzuk, who's the first baseman for the Chippewas. Brady Krunzuk from Clarkston, Michigan takes that first pitch in for a ball.
Well, he's not small either. He stands at 6'3".
That's right.
So big part of the lineup here
Absolutely.
for Central Michigan.
As he winds and fires. Zahoski, nice pitch. Completely fooled
And you got
Krunzuk.
And you got to be careful with him too. He's got 8 home runs, the second most on the team.
Yeah, power hitter. Not a ton of power on this team, but one of the power threats in this lineup, no doubt. Nobody with double-digit home runs in the lineup. Certainly take it for granted the RedHawks have 2. With Harrison and Applewick, as that pitch is bobbled by the catcher Rather, but outside for a strike. No advancement from the runner Verberg. Lots of deliberation here for Zahoski as he fires that one, swing and a miss. Evens the count here at 2 apiece, and no outs here in the top of the 4th inning.
He's definitely very cautious about his pitches in this situation, especially with runners on base. But as a left-hander, he gets a front row seat to what's going on over there at first.
Absolutely. So he's been using that to his advantage. Used that a lot last inning as he fires and gets a pick off on the runner. Oh, and the throw is misplayed. Brutal beat for the RedHawks. Just a poor execution. They actually picked the runner, but as he was sprinting over to second base, but a terrible throw from Applewick and a really poor catch from, looked like Diego Cruz, who just was not able to handle that at all. So a runner on second base with some good fortune there for Verberg. As the count's still 2-2.
Applewick's a guy who doesn't make a lot of mistakes when it comes to fielding, especially as the first baseman. You get a lot of balls because you got to get a lot of those puts out. That's his 5th error of the season.
Yeah, rough go of it there. I don't know if they're going to score that an error necessarily, as it looks like he might have gone. Nope, held up his swing. Nope, did not go. So full count now.
My apologies, they did not score that an error.
No, it looked like, I think you could easily score it an error, but I don't think they're going to call that an error there. It's just a poor throw from Applewick and made it difficult for Cruz to control it and rolled past him, unfortunately. So runner on second here, full count. Zahoski not even looking at the runner on second. Now takes a quick peek and fires, as that one is chopped over to the first baseman Applewick, who tosses it to Zahoski, gets the runner at first, and there's one away.
Well, you got to be careful here if you're Miami. Now you got a runner on third, 1 out, so obviously sending him home on a fly out is a possibility.
Soft contact will be your priority, absolutely. So that brings up the shortstop, or the center fielder, excuse me, Zach Knowlton, who in his last at-bat had a base hit and a run. As Knowlton's a right-hander with a man on third, 1 out. As Zahoski hoping to stop the bleeding. A really nice pick from Rather, as that one almost spiked away from him. Back to the backstop, but able to pick it just in time. But regardless, count is 1-0.
Knowlton is a native of the state of Kansas. He was an all-state defensive back playing football as well. So
good athlete. So that one is softly hit to Diego Cruz, who makes the play. Runner scores, but that means 2 outs now, with the score now 3-2.
Well, now it's a 1-run game.
Absolutely. So 1-run game here, nobody out on the bases anymore. Zahoski can just focus on number 0, Drew Lakitz, the shortstop.
He went to St. Joseph High School in St. Joseph, Michigan, which my grandparents live there. It's a nice town.
There you go. Really nice sound. So shows bunt first pitch rather, and pulls back though at the last second for ball 1, as Krupinski comes crashing down looking for the bunt. Now he's playing even with the bag, as the shortstop and second baseman are playing almost in the outfield, as that second pitch is well inside for a ball, and the count is now 2-0.
That being said, Loikitz is not a power guy. You do have to respect those balls going deep into.
You just don't want it over your head. Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's kind of no man's land behind you. As that pitch is in there for a strike, and count is now 2-1. So actually, it looks like they did score an error for that play over at second base. They did give it an error, so that's 3 errors for the RedHawks today. Still up 1, but big swing and a miss for Lakitz. Makes the count even at 2 apiece. And chance for Zahoski to get out of this inning with only a run.
Well, the RedHawks, I'm sure minimizing costly mistakes are going to be a point of emphasis, especially as we get late into this season. There were times against Michigan where that could have become a problem.
Absolutely. That one is barreled, hit left center field, hit very well. That looks like it's going. Dirks has a beat on it at the warning track and has it. Really nice track there from Marcus Dirks, the center fielder, and that retires the side for the Chippewas. So heading down to the bottom of the 4th, the Chippewas score 1. Score is now 3-2. RedHawks will be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. Zach Zahoski up to 66 pitches. Gave up a run so far, but so pitching pretty well, but that now brings Potts back out here as Diego Cruz watches that first pitch in for a ball.
Well, Diego Cruz, obviously a native of Puerto Rico. He went to high school in Florida. I have to imagine this weather is a big unwelcome change for him.
Absolutely, as that is a well outside for a ball. 2-0 is the count. And yeah, I imagine, or maybe it reminds him of home. You never know.
This time of year, he probably likes it a lot.
But
better,
I'm sure maybe earlier in the year, it's a
Yeah.
little bit trickier for him. Yes, as I watch that pitch in for a strike. As somebody, I have one of my good friends actually from Puerto Rico, and he said that was the worst part of moving to, or that actually, he took that for a ball. Excuse me. That's 3-0 is the count. Yeah, he said that was the worst part of moving up to. He's from Cincinnati. Is ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk for Diego Cruz. Nice patience. And so Potts walks his first guy, brings up the 9-hole Dom Krupinski. Krupinski, a guy who actually actually came with Brian Smiley, the manager from Indiana State, where he was the defensive coach at Indiana State, and Krupinski said he was recruited by him, and he only wanted to be coached by Brian Smiley. And so for 4 seasons, that's the guy who's coached him has been Dom Krupinski. Krupinski, a guy who's started for 2 seasons now, as he takes that first pitch in for a ball, and a guy who's just been a real nice cog in the lineup. A guy who you feel like could hit 5th or 6th in pretty much any lineup, as that's a pickoff attempt, but unsuccessful for Potts. But like I said, a guy who you feel like could hit pretty much anywhere in the lineup for the RedHawks if you asked him to. But it just kind of speaks to the luxury that your 9-hole hitter is a guy who's still hitting .270 with 28 RBIs, 5 home runs, and 8 doubles.
Oh, Brian Smiley, quick word there with the ump.
Yeah.
Neither of them look too happy.
They don't look very pleased. He was giving him a piece of his mind, though, and then walked back in the dugout to home plate umpire Andy Dudonis, as that is a fired in there. Nice pitch for a strike. Count is even at 1 apiece. Scores 3-2 here at the bottom of the fourth. Clouds starting to roll in, but still feels nice right now. Certainly praying for some continued sun for the rest of this game, as that's another failed pickoff attempt. A little bit of wind, though, which is feeling really nice right now. Loving that.
You wonder how long Potts is going to go. He's already over 60 pitches this inning.
Yeah, you do wonder. As that pitch is just outside. Central Michigan dugout wanted a strike. Wasn't quite there, though. 2-1 is the count. Cruz on first for the left-handed hitting Krupinski. Up next is Marcus Dirks, the leadoff man, who's 1 for 1 today. Krupinski 0 for 1 today with a ground out.
We're going to get some action going in the Central Michigan bullpen.
I believe you're right. I can't quite see who that is. Our angle's a little harder to see, and their numbers aren't on the front of their jerseys. So, or actually they are. They're just very small.
You need binoculars.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would just need some binoculars. That's the point. But regardless, yes, some action going in the Central Michigan bullpen. So imagine that Potts' time will be coming to a close somewhat soon, at least, as the count is 2-1. Taking his time is Potts, really making some adjustments. Multiple disengagements on Cruz. He's really worried about Cruz's arm, and Cruz takes a big lead but doesn't go, and that's going to be ball 3 for Krupinski. Potts today, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Guy who, like I said, 5.6 ERA in the MAC, a more hitter-friendly league, is certainly. That's another pickoff attempt. That's not easy to do at all. Any ERA basically under 6 would make you automatically an above-average pitcher here in the Mid-American. So certainly really impressive stats for Potts, as he hopes to keep those numbers down here as he fires that one inside, and that's ball 4.
And that's the second walk in a row.
It sure is, and so that's now 9 pitches in this inning. 8 of them have been balls.
Yeah, not what you want to see.
Not what you want to see at all. And so that brings up Marcus Dirks. There's a quick meeting at the mound between the catcher Verberg and the pitcher Potts. Also looks like the third baseman Bryson Webb will be joining him as well, having a quick discussion as there's runners on first and second, no outs. And boy, top of the lineup turns over. This is your chance to really blow this game open right here.
Well, you love being in positions like these. If you're Brian Smiley and the
Absolutely.
RedHawks.
No, you're exactly right. This is the exact kind of situations that you hope to be in all the time. These guys, getting base runners and extending this lead here for the RedHawks is the utmost priority, and a guy like Marcus Dirks is a good guy to have that happen here. So as he wiggles his bat, he shows bunt down the third base line. That is going to be a nice bunt, and he's safe.
Wow, bases loaded, nobody out. Here comes Evan Applewick.
Whew.
Eerily reminiscent scenario.
Yeah, talk about some deja vu from our second inning here. And so you've only no runner scores, like you mentioned. It's going to be bases loaded. However, if there's ever a guy on the line in the lineup, it's one of Evan Applewick and Tommy Harrison, and those are the next 2 guys you got here. So great situation for the RedHawks. Hope to see if they'll Reigns to see if they will capitalize here, as a first pitch taken on the inside corner for a strike for Evan Applewick. Applewick, a native of Madison, South Dakota, went to IMG Academy. One of a couple guys from IMG Academy. Big swing and a miss there. 0-2 count now, hoping to just kind of protect the plate, get something in the air, is Applewick, who's got an RBI and a couple walks today. His RBI came on that bases-loaded jam that Potts was in the second inning. As Applewick watches that one into the brown turf for ball 1. Makes the count 1-2 now. 3-2 here in the bottom of the 4th inning for the RedHawks, as Evan Applewick looks to extend this here with a bases-loaded jam. As that one is also low and outside. 2-2 is the count. Up on deck is Tommy Harrison, who had a 2 RBI single in his last at-bat, and certainly hopes to do more damage this time. Fires, and that is a chopper hit to the third baseman. Fielded, and runner out at first. However, there's still runners at second and third, and a run scores. So it makes it now 4-2 RedHawks. Certainly love to see at least getting the ball in play, not completely wasting the opportunity. Obviously, a base hit would have been amazing there, but still only one out for Tommy Hammer and Harrison, the left-hander, to make something happen here with one out and men on second and third.
Well, there's no better time to have the guy who's 9th in the country in batting average and 5th in the country in runs batted in.
Well, I think that might be the end of the day here. It sure is. It is going to be the end of the day for Potts. So we'll wrap it up here. 4 earned runs, 4 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts as we'll step aside here and wait for the new. Looks like, yeah, we'll tell you about the new pitcher here as we step aside here for just a minute. We'll be right back in just a second. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. We have a new pitcher. It is Jack Pottinger. And tell me about him.
All right, so Jack Pottinger, the lefty, he has an ERA of 12.38, the relief pitcher. He spent 3 years at Eastern Illinois, and he stands at 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5", 240. We were talking, that's a big guy on the mound. As that's a first pitch in there for a strike, as it's a big swing and a miss from Tommy Harrison, who looks to add on to his 2 RBIs today. And a nice off-speed pitch there to set the tone for Jack Pottinger. That one is spiked. Nice block there from Verberg. It makes the count even at 1 apiece.
In the warm-up, I saw him get up to 93 on the radar gun. So it looks
I would
like
hope
he's
a
got
guy
nice
I would hope a guy who's 6'5", 240 can throw that hard. I mean, yeah, my goodness.
It looks like he's got a nice speed change.
Absolutely.
Ability.
So, yeah, that speed change I think got Harrison. I think he was sitting fastball. He was still able to fend it off foul over to the first base side. So the count is 1-2 now.
Tommy Harrison trying not to squander a golden opportunity to extend the lead.
Absolutely not. 4-2 now. Men on second and third as Harrison barrels that one into the first baseman's glove, but nobody there at first base to actually cover it. So that will be a RBI for Tommy Harrison. I mean, as if this guy couldn't get more RBIs, he's going to just keep racking them up. So 5-2 now is the score. That's a 2 spot here in the fourth with the men on the corners and 1 out for the cleanup man, Ryan Novak, who certainly has a great opportunity here over 1 today with a hit by pitch and a stolen base. Also flew out to right field in his first at-bat of the day. And just a tough play there from the first baseman, Grunzuk, as he takes that first pitch in there for a strike. 91 on that fastball, and yeah, just a tough play. He hit his glove, bobbled out of his glove on when he fell back to the ground, and nobody was there. Second baseman or the pitcher were not there in time to make the play, as that's a nice off-speed pitch in there for strike 2. And yeah, Novak, a vet, guy who started now 3 years in this program, all 3 years that Brian Smiley's been the RedHawks coach.
Well, the native of Canton, Georgia, has a brother, Cameron Novak, who's a freshman pitcher on this RedHawks team. They both attended Blessed Trinity Catholic.
There you go. So he's got Sib on the team, sibling on the team, which is cool. And that last pitch was a spiked ball, so 1-2. Runner did not go on that. Nice block there from Verberg. As that ball is a little outside, a nice take from Novak, displaying some veteran savvy on that pitch right there.
Well, Tommy Harrison, the runner on first, has only stolen 3 bases all season, so I'm not surprised he did not go.
Big swing and a miss there from Novak, and that is 2 outs now for the RedHawks, and that brings up the shortstop Ignacio Gonzalez, who is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Potts really had his number in the first couple at-bats, but hopes that a new pitcher for Jack Pottinger will change his fortunes here with men on the corners here and a chance to extend the lead. 5-2 RedHawks as Pottinger throws that first one into the turf for ball 1. Gonzalez, a guy who didn't really play a whole lot last year as well. Kind of a lot of guys in that line. As that one is hit to right field, that falls for base hit. 1 run is going to score. Man is also going to run to third. So first to third for the base for Tommy Harrison, and a base hit for Ignacio Gonzalez.
Well, it's funny how that works. You change the pitcher, and immediately you go from strikeout
to a hit. There you go. And it was a nice piece of hitting, just a really well-hit ball from the right-handed Ignacio Gonzalez over to right field, and easy as. It's as good as it gets. So Carson Rather up to bat now, 0 for 1 with a walk and a ground out. And the lefty hopes to further extend this lead with runners now on first and third here with 2 outs.
He's batting .302 on the season.
Sure is, as that first pitch is in there for a strike. And, yeah, you certainly have to wonder now, what is Pottinger's limit? If they keep stringing together hits, you certainly wonder how much longer.
Yep, and it just looks like they have put a new pitcher to work in the bullpen.
I think there you go. That's probably part
Looks
of
like
why. So Jake Sable already making, their manager, Jake Sable, already making sure he has some options in case something goes wrong here, as Pottinger throws that one in for a ball.
Yeah,
Evens
number
the count at
31
1.
is up in the bullpen. And I think that's Jared Hansen, so he might be on soon.
All right. In the meantime, a half-hearted pickoff attempt from Pottinger over to first base. No out, obviously. Leaves him and the hitter here, Carson Rather, 1-on-1, as Pottinger fires that one inside. Nice fastball, but a little inside. Makes count 2-1 here. And Rather's a guy, too, who you certainly, looking at him, like you said, he's only 5'9", but he can hit for some serious power. He's listed at 200, and he takes that one almost off the noggin, kind of hit him in the right shoulder. So that loads the bases now, and not an ideal situation here with 2 outs if you're the Chippewas, and a chance for now Christopher Roa to really make something happen here. If you even just a base hit, you probably have 2 runs on the board right here.
Well, if it's any relief for Carson Rather, that only hit him at 80 miles an hour.
Right. It wasn't 95 off the dome or anything like that. It was a tolerable one. He's a catcher, too. He'll be okay, as that first pitch is well outside for ball 1. Yeah, those catchers, they always the bulldog mentality. Nothing's going to hurt me. It doesn't matter, that kind of thing. And Rather kind of, I feel like exemplifies that physically and, mentally as well. As Pottinger fires that pitch in there just low. The catcher, Verberg, thought that was a strike, as did the Central Michigan bench. But a good eye from Roa, and Andy Dudonis, the home plate umpire, said that is most certainly a ball. So Pottinger fires that one in. Now that one clips the inside corner, and that is a strike. Levels the count now 2-1.
Roa, the guy who got that second inning ambush, really started.
Yes, sure did. Had a run and a strikeout, has a hit and a strikeout. As that ball is hit over to third base, fires over to second in time is the runner, and that will end the inning. So a ground out to third to end the inning, but a 3 spot for the RedHawks in 2 of the last 3 innings has made the game now 6-2 in favor of Miami. We'll step aside here for just a minute as we head to the top of the 5th. Catch you later. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. Zach Zahowski takes the mound for his 5th inning of work. Up to bat now is the 9-hole hitter Correa, who has been struggled a little bit this year offensively, but nevertheless up to bat for the Chippewas as he takes that first pitch in there for a strike. Top of the 5th inning here for the Chippewas. That's a big swing and a miss for Correa. Quickly, the count is now 0-2. And yeah, Correa, a guy who really hit well at the D2 level for Thomas More. Not, like I said, not far from, about an hour from Oxford. But really struggling, hitting .226 this season as he watches that pitch in a little low for a ball. Struck out in his only at bat so far. He's 0 for 1 today. Zahowski fires that one into the turf for ball 2. And yeah, Correa also, interestingly enough, a guy who apparently that was Thomas More was his only offer as well, interestingly enough. But he said, I just wanted to level up, as that one is barreled up by Correa to Marcus Dirks over in right center field, and that is going to be an out. So 1 down for Zach Zahowski and the Miami RedHawks here as the order turns back over as Bryson Webb, the 3rd baseman, comes to the plate. Webb 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and an error. Reach on an error, I should clarify.
Well, he's got those 7 home runs, so you got to be careful pitching to this guy.
Absolutely you do, as that first pitch is high for ball 1. Only 3 hits so far for the Chippewas. 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 errors charged to the RedHawks here. As Zahowski throws that one in.
Well,
Rather lost it, actually, but regardless, it was a ball, so 2-0 is the count.
Well, as I mentioned, Zahowski is a native of Bentonville, Arkansas, home of Walmart.
Yes.
He's kind of a do-it-all pitcher.
Yes, he is.
Just like Walmart's kind of a do-it-all store.
That's right. I like that comparison.
No,
that's a good. I like that. That's a strike, a little low, but and Bryson Webb, wondering where was that spot, but regardless, it's now 2-1, and yes, I was wondering. I was like, Bentonville. That sounds very like. There's definitely some significance to that. I couldn't quite place it, but there you go. Home of Walmart. as that ball is in a little low. He's really working this lower part of the plate in the last few pitches. So 3-1 is the count, 93 on that pitch.
And he's been using the hard stuff to do it.
Yes, he has. He's been almost exclusively fastballs on these, on against Bryson Webb here as Sahoski fires this pitch, and that one is hit to the shortstop Ignacio Gonzalez, who fields it cleanly and throws it over in time.
Perfect throw, perfect catch.
Absolutely. He actually hesitated for a second, kind of, did a double tuck 1-2. Still had enough time to throw it over because it was well hit to Gonzalez, and that's the second out of the inning. So going for a 1-2-3 inning is Zach Sahoski, but in order to do that, he has to get through Cole Prout, who is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout or a double, excuse me, not single, a double and a strikeout, as he fires that first pitch in for a strike. Sahoski working pretty quickly now, I say, as of course he takes his time for just a second, but now fires that one in for ball 1. 94 on that pitch, though. You can tell he's clearly motivated to get out of this inning without any harm done. As he looks at the catcher, and fires that one a little high. Off speed on that, and it makes the count 2-1.
He's slowing down here. He's got to.
Yeah, he was. He was speeding up for the last
himself.
batter, and now he seems like he's really, I think Rather's telling him just take a second, as he fires that pitch, and that one is popped up left field side, but well foul past the J. Hayden Baseball Center over kind of by the dorms. Yeah, over by the dorms it looked like, and so evens the count at 2 apiece, and a chance now for Sahoski to land a 1-2-3 inning. Everyone's shifting right now with the shortstop Ignacio Gonzalez over on the right side, as that one is hit right to the third baseman Dom Krupinski.
Oh,
and that ends the inning. Yeah, absolutely, the shift. So Krupinski shifts over to the near second base, and the other 3 infielders over on the right side. And as a result, a 1-2-3 inning, no runs scored, no hits, and no errors for the RedHawks in that half of the inning. We head down to the bottom of the 5th inning, where we'll see the RedHawks square up. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning here, as the RedHawks are up 6-2 on the Central Michigan Chippewas as they come to the plate with a second inning of work from Jack Pottinger.
Well, Zach Sahoski's at 81 pitches, so Miami's starting to get arms loose in the bullpen.
I think that's wise. I'm going to guess there's one more inning for Sahoski, as Diego Cruz, or excuse me. Yes, Diego Cruz. Sorry, I thought I saw 2, but I couldn't see it for certain. Shows bunt, but does not lay the bunt successfully down, but regardless takes his first pitch for a strike, so the count is 0-1 here.
He's got an interesting quirk when he takes pitches. He runs sort of towards that top corner of the box.
He does that. It looks like he's trying to Baltimore chop it, so to speak, or kind of looks like the way, softball hitters might try to try to chop one fair. But anyways, 1-1 count. He takes that one outside, makes the count 2-1.
Whatever it is, it works. He's batting .359.
That's what I was going to
so
say. He started 36 games as a true freshman, and he's hitting .359. I'd say he's doing something right.
Yeah, not going to question that.
Sure, at a certain point, like you can't tell a guy not to do it as he barrels that one. That's a pop-up sky high over third base side. Third baseman tracking it, grabs it.
He ran into the fence right
Ran
there.
into the fence to grab it, into the bullpen, Miami bullpen that is, but able to grab it. So that's one down for Diego, for the RedHawks by Diego Cruz's pop-up. And that brings the 9-hole Dominic Krupinski up to bat. Krupinski 0 for 1 today on a fielder's choice and a ground out, as well as a walk. He has 2 runs today.
I'm sure Pottinger would like to get 2 outs right here because you're about to turn that lineup
Yeah,
over.
with the top of that lineup, you'd certainly like to just be able to get your outs at the bottom of the lineup now. Absolutely, as he takes that first pitch in for a ball. Krupinski, a left-handed batter but a right-handed thrower, which means that this lineup is actually majority lefty when you have your these are all pretty much your everyday guys you've seen for the last couple weeks. And Dirks hits lefty but throws righty, as does Tommy Harrison and Carson Rather as he watches that pitch in for a ball to make the count 3-0. But yeah, a lot of lefty hitters, and Christopher Roa is a switch hitter too. And Diego Cruz also hits lefty but throws righty. So a lot of left-handed guys in the lineup. Certainly presents I think that's part of what makes them so successful is they have so many guys who can hit lefty as that pitch is in there for strike 1.
I guess the question is, how do you become a switch hitter?
I've always wondered that. I mean, how, like I'm a Reds fan, so how Ellie De La Cruz is able to do it is beyond me. As that's ball 4 on a 5-pitch walk. So that sends a runner to first, and that turns over the lineup for the sweet slugging Marcus Dirks, who is hitting .364 coming into this game and is 2 for 2 today. Has 50 runs and also has a hit by pitch as well.
Well, you love to see a guy. Well, I mean, you can say that about basically everyone. So it's
Especially at the
getting redundant
top of the
this
order,
point,
though. Yes, I'm fully with you. It's a guy at the top. If you were to design a leadoff hitter in the lab, Marcus Dirks is pretty much exactly the kind of guy. A guy who gets on base at a 500 clip. He takes that first pitch in for a strike. Steals 28 bases. I mean, he can hit. He's pretty much only a contact hitter. Doesn't have a home run this year. Only 8 extra base hits. But he just gets so many singles and just gets so many extra bases from his stolen bases that it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter anymore that he's not hitting the ball super hard. It's kind of the Luis Arias mold, but he can do it with way more athleticism than Arias has.
Oh, yeah.
And plays a great center field defense as well, as that ball is hit in the gap to left and sent just by the shortstop. Going first to third for a second was Krupinski, but he holds up. So men on first and second now. A nice single for Marcus. Look, what do we say? It's just base hit after base hit for Dirks. It's just, and it's never going to be the hardest hit stuff, but he's just going to use his speed and find a way to get on base here. So that brings up Evan Applewick up to the plate with 0 for 1 today with 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and a ground out for the right-handed hitter. As that one is barreled past past the second baseman into right center field, sliding to try to grab it is the right fielder who tries to make a nice throw. Does not able to do it. So not in time, and a bases clearing double for Evan Applewick.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Exactly, absolutely. So a nice little bit of cushion now for the RedHawks to extend their lead from 6-2 now to 8-2. A really nice piece of hitting just past the outstretched arms of the second baseman, Correa, who, and then just a kind of a bobble there from Harrison Bowman over there in right field, who tried to make a play on the ball, like kind of tried to slide and pop up really quickly and grab it and wasn't able to do so.
You wonder how much longer they're going to let this pitcher go.
You wonder how long
pitches.
Pottinger, yeah, you wonder how much run Pottinger has, too, as that first pitch is in for a ball. No, you're exactly right. Applewick taking a fairly healthy lead as that pitch now is fired in there for a strike, and count is now 1-1. 1 out here, man on second. 8-2 is your score with the RedHawks on top for the left-hander, Tommy Harrison. As he watches that one kind of graze past his elbow for ball 2. Pottinger not really even acknowledging Applewick. Applewick's not really a stolen base threat, too, in his defense, as that's a changeup thrown in there for ball 3. And more base runners could be serious trouble for Pottinger if he wants to stay in this game.
Yeah, you got to start to worry if you're Central.
Oh, check swing. He did not go, so a 5-pitch walk once again for Tommy Harrison brings up the cleanup man Ryan Novak here with men on first and second and 1 out. It's interesting too because it doesn't look like they're gonna use another pitcher here yet. I mean, but they're setting themselves. I feel like this is a dangerous spot to put yourself, leave your pitcher in here, especially with a guy like Novak, a veteran hitter who's barrels that one past the second baseman Correa. Sending him home is the third base coach. Down is the runner. Third base is out.
Well, you still score the run, so
You sure did.
You do.
But Harrison gets thrown out at third, but a single and a fielder's choice means there's still now a runner at second, Ryan Novak, with 2 outs. So 9-2 is now your score, and it feels like, boy, this is starting to really get into a point of the game where you're just trying to keep adding and adding and adding runs just to make your pitchers feel comfortable here. Already a 7-run lead. Is Pottinger still not out yet as he fires that first pitch in for a ball.
Well, I guess if you read into the analytics, you talk about lefty versus righty. Right now, Miami, obviously, Iggy Gonzalez stands in at the right side of the plate.
As he barrels that one to right field, or right center field. Drifting back is the center fielder, goodness, I'm blanking. Center fielder Nelton, excuse me, and then able to make the catch. So that ends the inning, but not before 3 more runs have been scored. They've been scoring them in bunches of 3 today, and that's now 6 runs in the last 2 innings for the RedHawks. 9-2 is the score as we head to the top of the 6th. We'll be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wieseman here, joined with Cooper Meneghetti, and we've got a great game from the RedHawks and a gem thrown by Zach Zahosky. 6 strikeouts and 5 innings pitched, and he's going to stay out there for, we're probably guessing 1 more inning here, as that is a barrel from the 3-hole hitter Logan Keelan, but Marcus Dirk's able to run it down for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. You'll take that from a guy who's already at 82 pitches today. 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, no walks, and 6 strikeouts, and now at least 5 1/3 innings of work, which you'll certainly take.
Well, with a score like this, you probably want to save your pitchers for tomorrow.
I would agree.
So
I think you probably give him a little more run than you probably were initially planning on, would be my guess, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 9-2.
Absolutely, as that's a first pitch. Big swing and a miss there from the cleanup man, Harrison Bowman.
He's only given up 3 hits all day.
Yeah, he's cruising along.
Those 3 errors are what's allowed the 2 runs to score, but
yeah, he's only got 1 earned run today. So certainly his ERA certainly will be thanking him after today if this holds at least. As he winds and fires. That is barreled though over to left field, and that's a home run. That is what we call the announcer's jinx, Cooper.
Well, yep, that is the 4th home run Sahoski's allowed all season.
Well, a nice piece of hitting there from Harrison Bowman. That brings up the 5-hole hitter Spencer Verberg with the not before. That trims the lead to 9-3 for the Chippewas. Chippewas have not really been, like, they're a decent hitting team, hitting 295 as a team, but certainly this has been an unusual performance from them. They're typically a much better scoring team than they've been today, in spite of the home run that that Zahoski allowed. As he winds and deals that one is also barreled to left field. And that is back-to-back home runs for Zahoski on first pitches for both of them.
Well, that's unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate.
Such a great game.
Looks like they're teeing up on him a little bit, and you certainly do have to wonder if Brian Smiley decides if this is going to be end of the road. I also do think he has the benefit of making it a little easier on himself by having a great offense to give him a little more margin. But regardless, not ideal after that quick first out. It was a pretty hard hit ball, too, over to center field to Marcus Dirks, but now back-to-back home runs to left field makes it 9-4 in favor of the RedHawks. And, yep, Larry Scully, the pitching coach for the RedHawks, is going to have a chat, and I think that will be the end of the road. At the very least, a hefty conversation will be had with the pitcher Zahoski, and it looks like, yeah, we'll see. We'll give it just a minute just to double check. We'll stay here, but very unfortunate, like you said, a gem of a performance, 5 1/3 before those 2 home runs allowed, and looks like they're even if they let him finish this inning out, I imagine that's almost certainly the last of it. He's up to 85 pitches now, 3 earned runs, and 5 hits.
Well, earlier in the broadcast, we said no Central Michigan player had double-digit home runs. That's not the case anymore. Harrison Bowman just hit his 10th home run of the season.
Very good. Okay. Well, so they will not yank Zahoski, which it makes sense. I think you can at least ride him for the remainder of the inning and then see where you feel, depending on how many pitches he uses, see what you think. But I imagine this is probably the last inning regardless. So Spencer Verberg just hit the home run. Excuse me. It is Krunzuk, up to bat as he takes that first pitch in for a ball.
Well, it's good to see a pitch not sent into left for the senior
right.
southpaw.
The first pitch not being barreled into left field is certainly nice. As that is a second pitch, check swing, and they're going to say he went. So Brady Krunzuk now has a 1-2 count. Krunzuk today 0 for 2. With 2 ground outs as he fouls that one right back for strike 2. Zahoski with some gas even late, 92 on that. Zahoski really slowing down here as he winds and fires that right in the brown turf for ball 2.
Well, for the senior Krunzuk, he is a graduate of Clarkson High School out of Clarkson, Michigan, another Michigan native for this Chippewa team.
There you go. Yeah, you see kind of a national footprint as that one is hit foul over to the first base side. You kind of see a national footprint for Miami. I feel like it's kind of how they recruit their students. I think it's interesting, too, then that's how how Central Michigan, majority of their kids are going to be Michigan folks. And that's just going to be kind of how they build their roster. Kind of interesting how the school's identity is. That is barreled right up the middle to Diego Cruz at second base. And that will retire Krunzuk for the second out of the inning. They were kind of playing a shift there on the play there. They had Cruz shifted up the middle, as was Ignacio Gonzalez. They were really playing the middle of the field there, and Well, that shift was textbook. I mean, it hit right to where Cruz was sitting. So that brings up Zach Knowlton, who's 1 for 2 today with an RBI and a run as he takes that first pitch in for a strike. Knowlton steps out for just a second, gets himself reset.
Well, the senior's batting .299 with 5 home runs.
Big swing and a miss for the senior, as it's now 0-2, 93 on that, and you can tell Zahoski really coming to life here after those couple home runs.
He wants to get out of this.
He wants to get out, and I certainly can't blame him as he's well over 90 pitches now. As he fires, and that one is kind of chopped weirdly into right field. Tommy Harrison going for it, and he's got it to end the inning.
He lost his hat.
He sure did. He was barreling forward, a weird route that he took, but he was able to grab it nevertheless. So a couple back-to-back solo shots given up by Zach Zahoski, but still only 3 earned runs, 4 total for the left-hander, excuse me. So 9-4 is the score as we head into the bottom of the 6th. We'll take a break here. We'll be back here in just a second. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. It's 9-4 here in the bottom of the 6th as the leadoff hitter Carson Rather comes to the plate against a new pitcher. Cooper, tell me about Jared Hansen.
Well, if you look at Jared Hansen, he's 6'3" from Escabana, Michigan, graduating from their high school. Last season, he was 12th in the MAC in ERA. This season, he's been working out of the bullpen, pitching 9.75 ERA.
That is barreled by Carson Rather to right field at the warning track. Is the right fielder who is able to snag at Harrison Bowman with the putout, and that's one down. Yeah, this is a guy who was the Sunday starter for them last year, and weird to see a guy go from 57 innings pitched to just 24 as you're approaching the last couple series of the inning. A very random aside here that we were just kind of keeping an eye on here, since the Kent State and Miami is kind of the 1-2 battle here. It's actually 7-7, bottom of the 12th with Western and Kent here playing at Kent State as Christopher Roa takes that first pitch in for a strike, but that's certainly a game that we are all keeping our eyes on, as that could certainly affect standings, and he watches that one in for a ball.
Well, absolutely, especially because Western Michigan is so close to Miami as well. It's kind of a
right.
Who do you root for there?
Yeah, exactly. It's the standings are all kind of bundled up here. As that's a nice pitch from from Hansen, but not able to get the call from the home plate umpire. So 2-1 is the count here with 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning with nobody on.
Miami does travel to Kalamazoo next weekend, though.
That will be a crucial series, along with the Northern Illinois and the Kent State one. It's a big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Roja way ahead of that 78-mile-an-hour changeup. Nice job mixing speeds from Jared Hansen. And yeah, Hansen, a guy who, like you said, was a guy who started a lot of last year. Only started 3 games this year as he fires that one a little high. And a guy who's walking way more batters than he walked last year on a ratio basis. He threw 32 strikeouts, 12 walks last year. He's 10 walks, 9 strikeouts this year. So struggles really just seem to be coming from everywhere for Hansen, but Roja is able to foul that pitch back, so the count is full for Christopher Roja. Just hoping to protect the plate or get back on base here for the second time today, as he is 1 for 3 with a fielder's choice and a ground out.
Well, the RedHawks sitting comfortably here up 5. You still want to tack on more, obviously.
Well, and speaking of not attacking, a strike 3 call looking for Christopher Roja, as that is out number 2 for the Chippewas.
That'll bring up the freshman Diego Cruz, though.
Sure is. So, Cruz, hopefully a little bit better result than his teammates Rather and Roa. So the freshman comes up with a 0 for 2 today, but a walk, and scored on that walk with a couple of fly outs for the RedHawks. As Cruz hits that one, pop up kind of shallow center field. Going back is the shortstop Krunzuk, who is able to make the play and gets the final out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for Jared Hansen sends us to the top of the 7th for the 7th inning stretch. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. Looks like Zach Zahowski going to take the mound again. 93 pitches in, but still Larry Scully and Brian Smiley feel like he's got more left in the tank. So against Drew Leukitz, he fires his first pitch for a ball, but kind of the bottom of the lineup too, I'm sure, is part of the calculation here. Maybe steal at least one batter in a 9-4 ball game in favor of the RedHawks as Zahowski fires that one high. I'm also guessing it gives them just a little more time to get their guys loose. You see a couple arms throwing in the bullpen right now. So I'm guessing this just at the very, very minimum, buys them a little time here as Zahowski winds and deals. And that one is hit right to Ignacio Gonzalez, the shortstop, who makes the play in time for out number 1.
Well, not only that, it allows you to save your arms for this weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, you still have 2 very crucial games. You want to make sure you at least get the series. Ideally, all 3, obviously.
Yeah.
But you certainly, the fewer arms you use in a weekend, the better. Especially because they had to use a few arms for their game on Tuesday. You certainly that gives you more rest by Saturday and Sunday. There, as Zahowski fires that one out, is chopped foul over to the third base side. Yeah, coming up, they've got those 2 games, Saturday and Sunday.
Now you wonder if Miami will pull Shosky before we get back to the top of the lineup. Obviously,
You should.
facing
That's
the
what I
8
was
and
gonna
9.
guess. I was actually gonna say that as Correa is up to bat here and takes it. 1-1 is the count for number 1, jersey-wise. As Zahoski, big swing and a miss for Correa, who's just not really seeing him all that well at all. He's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout.
And again, not a power threat here.
Nope.
So I think
you can feel pretty good. Yeah, exactly. As that is ground ball hit to Diego Cruz at second, fielded cleanly and in time. So now 2 outs. Now it kind of makes the question, all right, is it just going to let Zahoski go for 7? Is that what we're going to do here? We're just let him get 7 innings? It certainly seems like it. I imagine they're going to give him at least this batter then. It doesn't seem like they've made any indication that they want time, though, as the leadoff man, Bryson Webb, comes to the plate. The third baseman is 0 for 3 today with a strikeout, and I guess you feel as well, you've gotten him out every time. You feel like you can maybe go grab him, and then if you're not able to get him, then turn it over to somebody else who can finish it off. We'll see, though, as that one is chopped foul, third base side, to make the count 0-1.
Well, the third baseman is 5'11", and he's from DePere, Wisconsin. He also went to their high school as well, so he traveled across Lake Michigan.
There you go.
To get to Mount Pleasant.
Webb has a lot of motion in his windup. Likes to wave his bat quite a bit as he gets ready, as he watches that one into the dirt. When he takes his step, he stops his gesturing with his bat, but he really likes to wave that thing beforehand. Really, one of the more pronounced bat waves I think I've ever seen actually from a hitter. As Zahoski fires that one in, strike 2. Watching that 94-mile-an-hour pitch is Webb, who can't believe it. He did not like that call, and neither did the Central Michigan bench.
Well, Zahoski up over 100 pitches right now.
I was going to say, so I assume they're not going to let him get it past 110. I'd certainly assume, but we'll see as he fires that one in. Strike 3 in a 7 innings for Zahoski. 1, 2, 3 on the top of the 7th. A great outing for him. So that will likely end his day here. 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. So we'll step aside here for the 7th inning stretch. We'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. It's 9-4 here in the bottom of the 7th inning as the Red Hawks are looking to extend their lead even further. And back out on the mound for the Chippewas is Jared Hansen after making quick work, and he hit Dom Krupinski, who's up, and he is limping a little bit. I can't tell where. I couldn't see exactly where it hit him. Hit him on his lower body. I can't exactly see where. But he is currently limping a little bit, so it looks like they're going to give him a second to.
Is that the second time he's been hit today?
I believe that is the second time
so
he has been hit today.
So that puts his total at 18.
There
Wow.
you go. For some reason, he must have some magnetic sort of properties to his body, or the ball just really likes hitting him. I'm not entirely sure, but he has a knack for getting hit, and this looks like it probably is going to leave a bruise tomorrow. It looks like it hit him pretty hard, and he's going to need a minute as
it was the first biofreeze.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's a little rough, but that turns over the order rather, and brings up Marcus Dirks, who, I mean, my gosh, has had about as good of a game as you could ask for. 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 for 3 with a hit by pitch as well. So certainly hope that that's not a second, as Krupinski flies back into first base on the pickoff attempt.
Oh, that's kind of rude there by Hansen.
Right?
You just hit
Isn't
the guy,
it?
and now you're going to make him slide back into the bag.
I'm with you. I don't think that was very kind, but Hansen doesn't care, and so Dirks is going to bunt a really nice bunt. Down the line he goes. Nobody can stop him. Second bunt hit for the day for Marcus Dirks. Men on first and second now, no outs. I mean, genuinely, there is nothing you can do in a guy who is as tactical and as precise with his bunts as Dirks, and a guy who can also just, I mean, he can still like pull it back and hit the ball well enough that you can't play him super close because he'll just hit it right by you.
Exactly, and I mean, there was he put it in no man's land.
Nope, totally no man's land. Right about a third of the way down the baseline, right on the line for on the third baseline rather. And no, nothing to do. He was already out on the base basically by the time the ball was in the hands of Jared Hansen, the pitcher. So the first pitch taken for a strike by the second number 2 hole hitter, Evan Applewick, who is 1 for 2 today with 4 RBIs and 2 walks. So certainly a great day for Applewick as he watches that second pitch in for a ball a little off the plate. Evens the count at 1 apiece. So. But yeah, I mean, Dirks is just unbelievable. He's done that. He did that twice, or once against Michigan as well, and I think Michigan knew that he was going to do it too, and they still couldn't stop him. It's just incredible. One of the better bunters you'll ever see, as that is hit foul over first base side, and that's going to be caught by the first baseman, and that will be the first out of the inning.
Well, even though that was an out, it's still been a really impressive day for Evan Applewick. He's driven in 4 runs.
Yeah, you'll take that any day. Obviously not the ideal situation to hit the pop-up, but yeah, he's walked with men on base with bases loaded twice, and he had a nice bases-clearing double as well. So not too shabby of a day for Evan Applewick. But that brings up the RBI machine, hammering Tommy Harrison.
He also has 4 RBIs.
He also has 4 RBIs. You're exactly right. As double run here on the hit and run as that ball is hit to the warning track. Now the runners have to retreat back to their respective bases on first and second. So that is the second out of the inning on a 1-pitch at bat for Tommy Harrison. That brings up now the cleanup man, Ryan Novak.
Well, that was unfortunate for Miami. You look, both runners got off base really well.
They did.
It looked like they would have both been safe, unfortunately, there.
Unfortunately, they took off because it looked like they were both, there was a double steal on, and it looked like a hit and run on for the RedHawks, but just unfortunate timing there on the pop-up as that first pitch is taken inside for a strike. Hansen, a guy who was part of the shutout a couple weeks ago of Bowling Green. He was one of 4 pitchers on that team on April 11th. That was just a good series for them. They swept Bowling Green in a pickoff attempt. A nice move from Hansen over to try to get them at second. A real surprise. I think it definitely caught the base runner Krupinski off guard, but he was safe, and so still 0-1 is your count here for the RedHawks.
Well, Central Michigan's barely under 500 in both overall record and MAC record, so I'm sure they were thrilled to go get 3 games.
Absolutely, they were.
Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. That pitch is taken high and away for ball 1. As the catcher was very keen. The catcher Krunzuk was very keen on trying to throw out a runner here. Very aware of the stolen base ability on base right now. As that one is ripped down the line, but foul, first baseline that is. Makes the count now 1-2, and you certainly hope with you start the inning off with men on first and second. You hope you can do better than no runs, but certainly not trending well here for the RedHawks.
Yeah, not an ideal situation. Down 1-2 with 2 outs, with runners on second and first.
Yeah, so still hope here for Novak, but needs to make something happen, has to protect the plate for the left-hander. As another attempt, this time even closer to getting Krupinski, but no cigar is the pickoff attempt at second. So still 1-2 is the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning here at McKie Field at Hayden Park. Good weather we've got here. Wind picking up a little bit. Clouds starting to come in, but nothing crazy as Novak watches that one outside.
It's blowing out towards left.
It is.
Center.
It's blowing out towards left. It was funny though because I've never seen wind so substantial in a game as I have in the game against Michigan, where it was blowing dead center, and I think we had 7 home runs between the two teams. It was a lot of power being displayed as that one is chopped over to third base, a do or die situation, and he got it. A nice play by the third baseman Bryson Webb, able to get the runner, and Jared Hansen able to get out of the inning unscathed. So no runs in the 7th inning for either team. We head now to the top of the 8th inning with the score 9-4 in favor of the RedHawks. We'll be back in just a minute. A new pitcher in for the RedHawks, Mark Iozzo, who pitched on Tuesday against Michigan and was terrific. Lights out, 2 innings, no earned runs. As he throws that first pitch in there for a ball.
Well, Iozzo is an Illinois native. He graduated from Burke Academy High School, where he batted .449. So
that'll play.
So as good as he is as a pitcher, he might have a little Ohtani in him as well.
That's right. Well, Iozzo currently is batting. The person batting against Iozzo is Cole Prout, who is 1 for 3 today with a strikeout and a flyout, and hit was a double. So the count is 2-1 now on that last pitch.
Iozzo comes in with an ERA of 2.84.
Yeah, he's been terrific. A guy who didn't even pitch last year has quickly emerged as one of the better bullpen arms here down the stretch as he throws that one a little high. So 3-1 is the count, but they're probably going to ask him to go get 2 more innings here if they can, and just limit the damage. The good news is you have some margin, 9-4 here in the top of the 8th inning, as that pitch is in for a strike to make the count full.
This season, he's only walked 3 batters. He's struck out 8 and allowed no home runs.
Very efficient, been very good. His whip is under 1. That pitch is in for a ball. So ball 4, a little low in a way is that pitch. Not a bad spot for Iozo, but regardless, that means the leadoff man is now aboard for the second hitter of this at bat, of this inning, Logan Kylan, who is 0 for 3 today with a strikeout.
Well, I jinxed him there. So.
That's okay. That's okay. He's got double play ball coming right here. Iozo, the righty, up against the right-handed hitting Kylan, who watches that first pitch in a little low and inside for a ball.
It is getting pretty late in the game, but it's a sad state of affairs when they shut the hot dog stand down.
Absolutely, it is. Well, Brian Smiley, that is, does not like whatever he's seeing, as he is going to walk out towards the pitcher's mound. Have a quick discussion here. In other news, the Kent State Western Michigan game is bottom of the 13th, 8-7 right now. In case you were wondering, that's Maction for you. That is Maction. Maction transcends any sort of sport or activity or anything. It's just a state of being, and right now I think that game is what kind of epitomizes Maction for you right there. Is a 13-inning, 11 o'clock game right there on a Friday.
And for all 10 fans in attendance.
Exactly.
They are
in for a treat. They were in for a treat. Last year, the RedHawks played in a 22-21 ball game with Bowling Green. Weren't able to pull it out, but scored 9 in the 8th inning, or in the 9th inning, but was not able to push the 10th run across, and unfortunately fell by 1 to the BG Falcons. Very unfortunate game, and it was a rain. It took 6 hours and 20 minutes to finish that game because there was a 2-hour rain delay.
Oh.
Yeah, but still, in spite of the rain delay, there was still 4 hours of baseball. So
that's true.
Well, 1-0 is the count here to Kylan, who has a runner aboard and watches that pitch for a strike. On deck is Bowman, who is 1 for 3 today with an RBI, certainly hoping to get a double play ball or perhaps a strikeout here. If you're Iozo, as he tosses that one in a little low, nice spot, but 2-1 is the count now here with no outs in the top of the 8th.
He's having trouble with command today.
A little bit. He's missing his spots by just a little bit. His spots were lights out on Tuesday, and he was mowing through Michigan's order as that one is barreled into left center field. Charging in is the left fielder who bobbled it a little bit, but regardless is going to be a single.
Well, that's a textbook bloop, folks.
Yep. Ryan Novak not able to get underneath it in time. Dirks, with all of his speed, also not able to get under it, and able to push it the other way is Kylan, and able to get aboard. So men now on first and second here with no out, with Bowman on up to the plate here.
Well, this is not the part of the lineup you look forward to if you're a Miami pitcher.
Certainly not. This is Harrison Bowman, who's one of their best hitters, and you certainly hope to not have a guy hitting 307 up to bat against you. So
and
he
he's
watches
already
that
hit a
first
home run
pitch in.
today.
Yep, absolutely. So first pitch in there for a ball. Like I said, he's just missing his spots just a little low every time, unfortunately. So it's been harder to stay ahead in the counts as a result. Yozo looks at the runner at second. Now throws that one in once again low. He's not spiking these either. He's just making a slight He just needs a slight adjustment, and he's got it in the bottom half of the strike zone. But right now, 2-0 is his count, really not teeing anything up as he spikes that one. 3-0 now for the RedHawks. And Iozo certainly not the typical dominant self that he's probably used to here.
Do you think he's going to have the green light here to swing?
I think so. I think down 5 runs, I think you have to. But he watches that pitch in. So 4-pitch walk. Didn't even matter. He can't throw a strike even when he's begging for a strike. And a rough go of it so far for Mark Iozo. Still no runs scored. The important part of all of this. But that brings up
Spencer Verberg, the catcher.
Spencer Verberg, the catcher. Yep, that brings up the right-handed hitting senior who is hitting .385 in his 16 games started, 21 games overall. And he's been good today, has an RBI, a home run rather, and a couple of runs as well. Certainly a very good day for the catcher as he watches that first pitch in for a ball, and that is not an ideal spot to be in. Iozo throws that one in for a strike on the inside corner. That's the spot he's probably been looking for this entire time, is what it seems to be.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he stays consistent.
Absolutely. You certainly hope for some consistency here, especially with bases loaded. No outs. Count even at 1 apiece, just looking for some soft contact. Big swing and a miss from Verberg, who's looking to grand salami this thing, but no cigar on that. No dice.
Everything's been around that 90, 89 mark for Iozo.
Absolutely has. Yep. So, all the infielders playing pretty deep as Iozo throws that one and he hits it. An unfortunate hit by pitch. Verberg fine. Sprinted down the bag. Lots of hustle, but that means now that the tying runner is up to the plate. That is Brady Krunzuk, who certainly not an ideal spot to be in, and you have to wonder at least if you're going to consider any pitching change.
And Krunzuk's hit 8 home runs this season, so
yeah, you don't want one of the better power hitters up to the plate. And it looks like there will be some time called, but this time I think it's Carson Rather, the catcher, who is going to call time and have a quick chat with Mark Iozo here. But yeah, so bases loaded, no outs, 4-run ball game with one of your better power hitters in Brady Krunzuk up to the plate. Certainly not an ideal situation if you're a RedHawks fan, but regardless, a doable, very possible to get out of it, especially because it makes it easy, plays at any base.
Absolutely. We'll see if the 6'3" Illinois native can get out of the jam.
Wind really starting to pick up here, and now Larry Scully calls time, and I wonder if this will be the end of his rope here, because there's several guys in the bullpen who have already been warming up here. I'm not sure if this will be the... Yeah, it looks like... Yep, looks like it will be. So, we will step aside as there is a new pitcher that is going to be joining us here momentarily with the score 9-5 RedHawks here in the top of the 8th inning. We'll be right back. welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. We are joined here at McKie Field at Hayden Park. A beautiful day. Some clouds starting to roll in, but regardless, a good day so far for the Red Hawks. For Austin Berggren, though, is the new pitcher, certainly looking to get out of this bases-loaded, no-outs jam as the new pitcher for today. But Krunzuk is up to bat, and he's hoping to put an exclamation point on what's already been a one-run inning after the hit-by-pitch for Mayozo.
Well, the senior Berggren enters today's game with a record of 2-3 with 3 saves. So he knows what he's doing in clutch time situations.
Absolutely. Yeah, 29 innings pitched, 15 games pitched total, 3.72 ERA, like you said. And a guy who already ahead of the count 1-0 here, as that one is also barreled back into the backstop here, as the first one was as well. So quickly ahead, 0-2, and that's exactly what you're looking for as a strikeout here, just to kind of give you a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, and still a little bit of confidence in your defense, too.
Absolutely. So Berggren taking his time, kind of fiddling with his glove here, and then gets set and looks at the runner at third, really staring him down, and then fires, and that one is strike 3. Great pitch there from Austin Berggren, as that wasn't even lifted off the shoulders of Brady Krunzuk. And so now you have a chance for a double play ball to just straight up end this inning. But first, you got to get through Zach Knowlton.
Well, you couldn't have asked for anything better if you're a Red Hawk fan right there.
Certainly not right now. Absolutely not. Yeah, Berggren, a guy who pitched on Tuesday, came in, gave up a couple runs, but ultimately got the ending, did not get the decision, but was in there for the final out.
Yeah.
And able to put the Wolverines away for one of the bigger wins in program history, no doubt.
Well, his defense didn't help him as we started getting those late in that ninth. He got to 2 outs and then
yes, an error that certainly did not help, as that's a pitch taken in there by Knowlton for a strike, so the count is even 1-1 here with 1 out. Bases still loaded, 9-5. Good song. Dolly Parton, good song. But 9-5 regardless. You're in the top of the 8th, rather. That one is chopped. Looks like it'll be foul. It is foul over to the third base side. So now 1-2. Berggren just getting ahead of the counts on his first couple batters here. You wonder if he can put this one away, get it to 2 outs. But regardless, very impressive from Berggren coming into a really stressful situation and doing his best so far.
Well, number 35 is a native of Kansas, and he comes to Oxford via Johnson County Community College. He played JUCO for a few seasons, and now he's in his senior year.
Tore up JUCO. Yeah, he tore up JUCO. Had an ERA under 3 and 26 innings of work. A good, really strong player. Big swing and a miss, and strike 3 for Austin Berggren against Zach Knowlton. A great job from Berggren to really make his life a lot easier here. Still no runs given up from Berggren, and that's the second strikeout of the day for the senior. So that brings up now Drew Lakitz, the shortstop, who's 1 for 3 today with an RBI and looking to add on to that RBI total, but everyone able to play kind of straight up with the bag now. Berggren gets a swing and a miss.
Well, if you're going to make a pitch like that, getting the batter to chase certainly helps you out. He just dropped one there.
Rather actually had to kind of slide to his right to get in front of it because it kind of spiked just past home plate, and able to still elicit a swing and a miss.
Appears we have a timeout.
Yeah, there's a timeout of some sort. I don't know if Berggren looks like he got hurt. Yeah, Berggren is in pain, and I'm not sure where, but
kind of a weird release.
He is not thrilled with whatever he had happen to him. So we'll step aside here for just a minute. We'll let them figure out what's going on there. But in the meantime, you're listening to Red Hawk Radio. Don't miss it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. Austin Bergeron will stay in the game. Came up with some discomfort. I honestly could not have told you where, but yeah, it was kind of a weird throw. It kind of spiked it, but I mean, now he looks like he's fine. He threw a warm-up pitch, 93, and he said, "Nope, I'm good." So the senior from Olathe, Kansas, will certainly try to get out of a bases-loaded jam with 2 outs, 1 strike on the batter. Big swing and a miss for the 8-hole Drew Leutkitz. And Leutkitz already with a hit and an RBI today, hoping to tack on more here. While Bergeron hoping to get out of the jam started with Mark Iozzo's real struggle to start this inning. Bergeron winds and deals. Swing and a miss. 3 straight strikeouts to get out of the inning. What an inning from Austin Bergeron after a really rough start from the first reliever. Austin Bergeron able to put it away. Bases loaded, 1 out. Both bases loaded, no outs, and able to get out of the jam unscathed. So 1 run on the inning makes the game now 9-5 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. We will be right back here on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. We're here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Ignacio Gonzalez steps to the plate. Gonzalez, the Puerto Rico native, 1 for 4 today with an RBI and 2 strikeouts, as well as a flyout as the pitcher Jared Hansen fires that first pitch in there for a strike.
He stays out there. It seems like some players are getting loose in that Central Michigan bullpen, but no throwing.
No throwing. So they're going to call that next pitch there a ball. Spiked it just a bit. And, yeah, like you said, there does seem to be at least some movement. No movement right this second, though. Just the pitching coach over there. Big swing and a miss from Gonzalez. And that lowers the count now to 1-2 for Gonzalez. Yeah, Gonzalez already with 2 strikeouts today against Pottinger, and Potts watches that one in there. For ball 2. Yeah. Well, Gonzalez, very impressive for a guy who hardly played last year, hitting just under 300. Tips that one over to the shortstop. Not very well hit, but, bobble by the first baseman. It will be safe.
Wow,
Miami able to
take advantage.
Absolutely.
Of a miscue.
So Brady Krunzuk was unfortunately unable to handle the throw from the shortstop Drew Leutkitz, and it wasn't a great throw, to be fair. It was kind of low, and it was a weird pick, but regardless, one that probably should have been made. But regardless, that means there's now a runner on first with no outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The runners, Ignacio Gonzalez, just hoping to add on some additional insurance runs and, make themselves a little more comfortable for the top of the 9th here. But here we go. We have Carson Rather, though. Rather, the catcher, hitting left-handed, watches that first pitch in for a strike. 0 for 2 today with a walk. 7 home runs on the season, hitting a .302, a ground out and a flyout, and a hit my pitch. A lot of those today, feels like.
Yeah. Well, Jared Hansen not exactly dealing heat out there on the mound. I don't
Absolutely.
think
No,
I've
he's like
seen-
sitting low 90s which is hilarious. That's not heat, but that's where we are in 2026. But
Well, these
failed pickoff attempt there from Hansen on Gonzalez. Gonzalez taking a pretty healthy lead though. And Rather barrels that just foul past the on the first base line. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say that I don't think he's got this inning at least. He's gotten above like 85. That one was 84.
Yeah, it's
He's
made
going with the
velocity
off
starting
speed.
to. Yeah, I was gonna say velocity has not been something he's trying to jump a ton. But he's 0-2 now on Carson Rather, the catcher, and hoping to get his first out of the inning with Gonzalez on first as he winds and fires, and looking for the throw down to second with Spencer Verberg, but wasn't there for ball one on Rather. Hansen kind of eyeing that first base runner. Yep, and Gonzalez gets back in time safely. But yeah, you could tell he's really got his eyes on Gonzalez, and so does Spencer Verberg, the catcher. They are both very keenly aware that Gonzalez does have a little bit of speed. He's got a handful of stolen bases this season. Or he's actually only got one stolen base this season, but he's still very athletic and capable as he takes that pitch in for a ball.
Well, Carson Rather earlier today with that walk extended his reach base streak to 11 games in a row.
There you go.
So he's been doing his part, getting on base.
Yes, he's been offensively about as much as you can ask for from a catcher.
Yeah.
All right. That one is skied into shallow center field. The center fielder has it, and he does. Center fielder Zach Knowlton makes the play, one down. Christopher Roa now comes to the plate. Roa having a solid day so far. He's got 1 for 4, a couple strikeouts. Really made himself more of a part of this lineup for the last couple weeks, especially when you ask a guy who can switch hit at DH is so valuable, because then it's not like a guy who's going to be, only be able to play against righties or only against lefties. No, he can hit against both of them. He's hitting .314 on this season coming into the game. He's hitting very well. As Gonzalez slides back into first base on a pickoff attempt from Jared Hansen. But yeah, I mean, especially for a young guy too, only a sophomore, to be able to come in and hit switch hit and do so pretty efficiently has been a nice addition offensively for the RedHawks. Roa barrels that right field. Misplayed by the right fielder.
That's going to be extra
That's going to be
bases.
extra bases for Roa. Still at the warning track, sending Gonzalez home as the third base coach. That will be a stand-up triple for Christopher Roa. Yeah, the right fielder, Harrison Bowman, just completely misplayed it. Tried to dive. It bounced just in front of him, bounced over him, all the way to the warning track over there in right field, and bounced at the wall before he was finally able to corral it. And by that point, Roa was basically on second base. And Roa's got some for a DH. You don't usually see DHs with that much speed, but Roa's a good athlete. You can see he's got some wheels, and he was able to make it into third base standing. So that tacks on another run for the RedHawks. They accidentally added a couple runs on the scoreboard for Central Michigan, and they're adding more even. But regardless, it's 10-4 in favor of the 10-5. Excuse me, 10-5 favor of the RedHawks as that is barreled down the line, right field. Cruz going back, gone. 2-run home run for Diego Cruz.
Well, that kind of swing and that kind of thing for Diego Cruz.
Really nice barrel there from Cruz as there was no doubt about that off the bat. You really, first pitch, took it for a ride. It had the trajectory, had the distance, had everything right over Harrison Bowman's head. He didn't even move. He took 2 steps back and said, see ya. That was how hard he hit it. So that extends the lead even further now. It's now 12-5 in favor of the RedHawks. And we were just talking about some extra insurance runs to make sure your bullpen isn't have to really work super hard, maybe give them a little longer of a leash. Well, to talk about insurance runs, a Diego Cruz home run certainly helps. So, like I said, now 12-5, and that brings up the 9-hole Dom Krupinski, who is 0 for 1 today with a couple hit by pitches, his last one being his most lethal. It is now 2-0 as he watches that one. Looked like Krupinski thought that one was a strike, but the home plate umpire, Andy Dudonis, did not. So it will be 2-0 as Hansen fires. And that one is slapped right to the second baseman. Corralled cleanly and picked cleanly by the first baseman, Krunzuk, for the second out of the inning.
Well, that being said, with those 2 hit-by pitches, Krupinski did extend his reach base streak to 23 games.
That'll
Painfully,
play.
but he did it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that will play. And that's the kind of guy you're hitting ninth. Just kind of speaks to the depth of the lineup when a guy at the 9 hole is hitting, hitting like that and getting on base at that clip. As Marcus Dirks now, as the lineup turns over for a 4th time, now comes to the plate. As Marcus Dirks, or 5th time, excuse me, comes to the plate as he watches that pitch in for a second ball. The count is now 2-0 for Dirks, who's, having an amazing day. 4 for 4. Call it the biggie meal because that is incredible stuff. 3 runs and a hit by pitch for Dirks as he barrels that one to right field. That one is going back more, and off the wall is Dirks. That will be a stand-up double, almost Marcus Dirks' first home run of the year with some wind behind him too, but regardless, more hitting off of Jared Hansen are the RedHawks, and so a two-out, 2-base hit now brings up Evan Applewick to potentially drive in yet another run.
Well, it doesn't look like Central Michigan's going to waste a pitcher here this inning. I think they're just going to let.
I think they're just going to let it ride.
Yeah, they're going to let the damage be dealt.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think if this were a 2-run game, you figure, oh my gosh, all right, we gotta you gotta put a different guy in. But 7 runs, a little more difficult of a sell.
That is true.
Well, that puts up Evan Applewick, like I said. He's 1 for 3 today, 4 RBIs, 2 walks. He's had himself a heck of a day. A ground out and a fly out for the senior from South Dakota.
You'd have to put this one in the seats, or, well, not the seats, over the fence.
Sure, maybe into the dorms, perhaps.
If he wanted to get that 5th RBI in this position.
I think so.
After Diego Cruz cleared the bases with that deep shot.
As he watches that first pitch in for a ball. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Although Dirks has the speed, even if it's just a base hit, you certainly think that there could be another RBI here. Dirks, if there's anybody on this entire roster that you would want at second base, it's Dirks in this spot. As that one is hit, popped up, but well foul, well behind the Central Michigan dugout. As that evens the count at 1 apiece. And Applewick, and we kind of talked about this earlier, not a guy who's hitting as many home runs, but the walks are just coming in bunches. For a guy who's top 5 in the NCAA in walks, and a guy who we know is capable of power, and teams are obviously, I think, pitching around that a little bit too. He's just not getting as good of pitches because they know he's capable of, 21 home runs in 60 games, which is terrific as he watches that third pitch for a strike. It makes the count 1 and 2 here, but yeah, he's got about as good of an eye as you can ask for. He's been patient for the most part.
And that being said, he still leads the team, or is tied for the lead in home runs.
Absolutely. Yeah, so he's still getting quality at bats as he watches that next pitch and evens the count at 2 apiece. Yeah, he's still contributing massively still, which is hilarious to say that he's halved his home run total and still leading the team, and it's not even a bad indictment on any of the my RedHawk hitters at all as he chops that one foul, kind of right behind him, basically. 2-2 is still the count. 12-5 ball game here. 3 spot already in the bottom of the 8th inning. Every single inning in which they have scored bunches of 3. For the RedHawks, they scored in the 2nd inning, the 4th inning, the 5th inning, and now the 8th inning. And hoping to break that streak is Evan Applewick, and hoping to push across a 4th with a base hit here as he watches that next pitch in for a ball.
Well, how good were you on your math time test for the multiplied by 3?
I was really good.
Well,
I was really good. I was pretty good on those.
Right now we have 3 times 4.
That's right.
Which would give you 12.
Which would give you
playing
12.
along at home.
How good were you is the question.
How good was I?
Big swing
That
and
was
a miss for
capable
Applewick.
multiplier, but
Fair enough. Well, that's a big swing and a miss for Applewick, and that will end the inning, but not before 3 runs scored by the RedHawks. So that makes the score now 12-5 as the Chippewas hope for one last miracle here as the, for hopefully the first game of the series here belongs to Rocks. We'll certainly see. We'll be right back here on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wieseman, joined here with Cooper Meneghetti, and we got a great game for the RedHawks offensively. I mean, we knew that they could score with just about everyone, but the pitching has been terrific as well. A great job from Zach Zahoski in his start. 7 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts as well, and no walks. Really can't ask for a whole lot more from a pitcher, especially in the Mid-American where we got some seriously good hitters. But Austin Berggren comes out after absolutely mowing down in only 10 pitches the Chippewas order with 3 strikeouts after a bases-loaded jam in the 8th. Scored 1 but wasn't able to score more, so that brings up the pinch hitter, Milto, as he takes that first pitch in for a strike. So Joey Milto, the senior from Greenwood, Indiana, he's actually been a starter for the most of the season, but not today, as he's hitting .269 on the season and 33 games started. That one is a big swing and a miss, and strike 2. But Milto, a guy that actually transferred from Bellarmine, played 55 games for them and has been, for the most part, one of the guys who's been a part of this roster, getting the day off today, but still wanting him to pinch hit is the home plate umpire, Andy Dudonis, chirping with the Central Michigan bench as they were not pleased on that last strike call, as that pitch is in the dirt, or in the turf rather, for a ball.
well, Joey Milto, he does not have a good walk to strikeout ratio.
Yeah,
He's
27
walked
strikeouts.
13 times and walked,
Ugh.
or as you said, struck out 27 times.
Yeah.
Not what you want to see.
Check swing, looks like he went. Dropped third strike, though. Throw down to first in time for, wow, wide on cue. That strikeout to walk ratio, just as you predicted. So that's 1 down, and that is the 4th strikeout of the day. This time on 4 pitches for Austin Berggren, who is just absolutely mowing these Central Michigan hitters down in the first 4 batters. He struck out all 4. That's pretty dang good for a guy coming out of the bullpen in a jam the way he was having to come in too. Great job from him so far.
Absolutely. If you're the RedHawks pitching coach, you got to be thrilled at the outing that Austin Berggren's had.
Absolutely. So Bryson Webb now up to bat for the second batter of the inning, who is 0 for 4 today, with got on base on an error and also has a ground out and a couple strikeouts, as he barrels that one very softly to first base but foul. So makes the count now 0-2 for the chance for yet another strikeout.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised here.
Oh, my
The way
goodness.
he's been pitching.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely. Boy, he has some bling, Bryson Webb, that is. I couldn't really tell at first, but, boy, he has some sort of necklace or something that I could see the reflection of very clearly now.
Yeah.
He's got some drip. I can't lie. As he throws that one, swing and a miss, and a great outing. Just gets better for Austin Berggren. Strikeout number 5. 5 batters.
5 strikeouts.
Wow. I mean, you want to talk about dominance. I mean, you can't really ask. You literally cannot ask for more from your hitter,
not.
your pitcher rather, and he's doing it in three or four pitches every time.
Yeah, this is a guy who, at one
That's
point,
a big swing and a miss on
got
that one.
hurt.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. And that's a great point. He was hurt for that last batter there. Had to come in, throw, like, almost came out. Had to throw a warm-up pitch just to kind of make sure he was good, and then felt okay. Great pitch there, a little high. Strike 2.
Well,
really
history
pressing
repeats itself.
and this is Cole Prout, the left-handed hitting left fielder, looking to make something happen here with 2 outs with 12-5 here in the top of the 9th. Sets, fires. Not a strike on that. Outside, ball 1.
He's trying to slam the door for the second game in a row.
94 on that one. You can certainly see he's got some juice. He's been absolutely mowing these hitters down, like I said, and he's hoping to mow yet another Chippewa down.
For the final out.
Spike that one once again. 89 on a changeup. You can see.
To stop talking.
Yeah, he can see that he's certainly wanting to put an exclamation point on what's been a great game for this RedHawks squad, no doubt. Just a reminder, this RedHawks squad, 12 runs, 13 hits, and in spite of 3 errors, only given up 5 runs and 6 hits for the RedHawks, and that's popped up, foul over on the left side, and staying alive is Cole Prout, the senior.
Well, Prout looks like he just wants more baseball.
Yes, he does. Any way he can have it, he'll have it. So evens the count at 2 apiece, though. The count is even, rather, at 2 apiece with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. And that one is also chopped, very well hit, but foul right into the screen above the dugout of the Miami RedHawks.
He wanted to take out the TV camera.
Yes, he certainly did. He came very close to doing so, too, in his effort. But another chance now. Berggren finally getting tested in this outing. Every other outing was 3 or 4 pitches, finally having to string something together. Can he put him away? And that is popped up, also foul. I mean, my goodness, this is just a great at-bat regardless of how you slice it from Cole Prout, who's fighting against against a guy who has mowed down all of his teammates, his last 5 teammates, and boy, he's sticking in there regardless of the final outcome. He's hanging around.
The Red Hawk dugout is really trying to rally Austin Berggren here.
Here's the pitch, and well over Rather's head for ball 3. You can see how badly he wants this strikeout.
Oh,
And I don't think Cole Prout's going to let him have it if he has anything to say about it.
Absolutely.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch as Berggren looks at the sign, goes for it, winds, fires. He went! Strike 3, and that ends the game.
Austin.
6 batters, 6 strikeouts. Talk to me, Austin Berggren. Oh, my goodness gracious. What an outing for Berggren. What a great job offensively and defensively, and that will end the game for the RedHawks. So, RedHawks win 12-5 against the Central Michigan Chippewas in an absolutely dominant performance. 12 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error for against, and then 3 errors against, and then 5 runs, 6 hits, 1 error against for the Central Michigan Chippewa. Zach Zahoski will get the decision, will get the win, and Potts will get the loss on the day. That moves him to 2-3. Zahoski will move to 5-1 on the season. A great game, and we appreciate you sticking along with us this entire game. I'm Sean Wieseman. I'm here with Cooper Meneghetti, and we appreciate you guys listening to us today. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. against Central Michigan, in which should be another great game here at McKie Field at Hayden Park. Have a good rest of your night.